I know I'm waiting for something to happen to me.
ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ولي الصالحين وولي المتقين ونشهد أن سيدنا مولانا ونبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله ونبيه وحبيبه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين صلى الله على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين والملائكة المقربين وعلى أمة نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم إلى يوم الدين. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أما بعد. First of all, I would like to begin from make sure that you have understood something which I mentioned yesterday, which is very important. कोई चीज़ कल बयान की थी जो बहुत ज़रूरी थी ताकि वो पता हो कि आपको समझ आई है या नहीं. Brother Ali Ashraf, I mentioned yesterday that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that you should worship Allah as though you see Him. कि हजूर अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम ने फरमाया कि अल्लाह की इबादत इस तरह करो कि गोया तुम उसे देख रहे हो. कल बताया था 3 रवायतें हैं. There are 3 different riwayat. Rather there are more. एक चौथी भी है. अब पहले तो एक है. There is one. तो बंदा वो समझता है मेरे पास बड़ा इल्म है. जिस तरह ये कोई पूछ रहे थे पहले, someone was asking a question regarding how to give dawah to others. To give dawah to others, we discussed in detail little bit 8 discourses on last Ramadan, so those brothers or sisters should listen to them. And one should present clearly the teachings of Islam and dalail, but people don't accept sometimes. Sometimes they do. Like Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu presented the deen, and the Kharijis who said we were Muslim, they argued with him. They were Salafi type people. That is the origin of actually Salafis are offshoots of them. That those who think we understand Quran and Hadith better than actually the companions and the A'immah. So they just said we just believe in Allah, we just want to listen to Quran, we don't want to listen to you. So Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu had no other solution just to kill them basically. That was the solution he actually resorted to. Who has more wisdom, knowledge than him? But because he thought that these people will call fitna to others, if there was a normal person, he just have to ignore them. That's like you, although you killed, meaning you've left them to yourself. But if these people, in spite of giving dawah, that is the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then people don't accept, He destroys them. Allah की सुन्नत भी ये है कि जब नहीं मानते लोग तो उन पर अजाब, उनको तबाह करना. तो अगर तो खलीफा हो वो तो कर सकता है. नॉर्मल पर्सन he can't. The word Salafi is bid'ah itself. I challenge all of the world and scholars. Where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or Sahaba use the word Salafi. Who says I'm Salafi, that person is saying he's something other than Allah and His Messenger and companions. The companions have called them Ahlus Sunnah, Nahnu Ahlus Sunnah, Wal Jama'ah, what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned. ना सलफ़ी लफ्ज़ है हदीस में नहीं, तो आज जो कहता है मैं सलफ़ी हूँ, he is outrightly have said first of all that he is something else than Allah and His Messenger and companions. Sufi word doesn't appear, but they don't claim to be other than Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. What they say, it is just a name of tazkiyah like fiqh or anything like this. But when a school of thought completely goes off, so as I said that they were present at the time of companions with these thoughts, but they were called Kharijis. Kharijis. People who, Kharij means that who have actually escaped. Kharij का मतलब है जो निकल गए. कहाँ से निकले? Where they have come out from, exited from? From the understanding of the companion and understanding of the A'imma. जो सहाबा और आइम्मा की समझ जो उनको आई उससे बाहर निकल गए, उनको खारिजी कहते हैं. And Rasulullah said that they are going to exist. So if they are going to exist, for me and you, the responsibility is we present deen to everyone. But what is the order to start? लेकिन तरतीब क्या है कुरान ने दी? What is the तरतीब? The तरतीब is qu anfusakum. Save yourself first. Have you reached Allah or not? Wa ahlikum. Then your family. Then the people who are like-minded by you. For example, there are 80% of the people of 80 to 85% people of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, mainstream Sunnis in the world, Muslim world. They are about, you may say, 5% Shia and maybe 3% people who call them Salafis. ये तादाद ही नहीं है. 5-7% Shias and the other actually 3% who are Salafis. बाकी सारे majority of the people, they are Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. They actually follow the Imams and Sufiya and Ahlullah. And that's always been the case in the history. You ask them, or anyone for that twice in the world there have been Khilafah closer to Islam. One was the Khilafah of Bani Abbas. The people, Bani Abbas, 500 years it went. पहली खिलाफत जो बड़ी 500 साल चली, Bani Abbas. All the Khalifas from the Tabi'in and the Tabi'in, actually this. In Imam Abu Hanifa's time, Bani Abbas, after him as well. 500 years. Then there was a pause because of the invasion of Halakuha and Mongols. After some years, again the Khilafat Usmaniya began. And that stayed also for maybe 6-7 centuries. फिर 600-700 साल until 1921 that Khilafat existed. ये आपको मैं historical fact बना रहा हूँ. The scholars have been Imams of Hadith, Imam Bukhari when lived, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal when lived, Imam Shafi'i when then lived, Imam Tirmidhi when lived, Imam Abu Dawud then lived, Imam Nasai when lived. Which was the Khilafah of that time? Bani Abbas. Bani Abbas ki Khilafat. And then after that for 700-600 years was the Khilafat Usmani of the Turks, Turkun ki. जब भी Islam दुनिया में 1200-1300 years ago as a Khilafah was implemented, both times, दोनों दफा, the law of Islam which was practiced and followed officially and all over the world and also of the Khalifas were fiqh Hanafi. Never in Khilafah there have been actually, for example, a mazhab Maliki being followed or Shafi'i being followed or actually Hanbali being followed. दोनों दफ़ा जो खिलाफत रही है, पहले 500 साल फिर 700 साल, तो सारी दुनिया पे कानून फैसले किस तरह होते थे? It was made according to actually Hanafi laws. Qadi Abu Yusuf, Imam Abu Yusuf was the Qazi al-Qaza. And this was the time of Imam Bukhari and Imam Tirmidhi. आज लोग इमाम तिरमिज़ी को जिनको पता भी नहीं इमाम तिरमिज़ी होते कौन हैं कौन? These muhaddiseen, Imam Nisa'i, Imam Abu Dawud, Sahih Sitta, Sahih Ibn Habban, they people lived and when all the world was following Hanafi fiqh. And Sufiya actually, they were following. Because these people, the Sufiya. So sometimes they make, as they say, some minorities, they make more. We do actually give them Dawah. Clear and but we are not responsible for actually that they accept actually, because we should know ourselves, our families, and save the 85% people who already believe in same as you. They are astray, they are going wrong as well in many a case. But yes, we can't exclude them and billions of non-Muslims, but there comes a time. There comes a time wherever you get opportunity, you give. So whoever it is, they are actually, one should present, and that's why I say that those brothers who are interested, give time. If you don't even give time to the 50 discourses I've given how to give dawah to Salafis and non-Muslims, who is going to learn then? Who is going to learn? Who is going to learn then? But you have to give time to learn to give dawah. So people, mashallah, in the world they are giving dawah, and there will be, and always there will be Christians, there will be Jewish people, there will be people coming up believing in new prophets. They are always going to exist. But our responsibility is we are saved, and we save our families and try to save the world as well. And whilst trying that, if we die, we are successful. While all the kufr is going to end only once in a lifetime of humanity, is when Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam will fight Dajjal. After that, all there will be Islam in the world. Before that and after that, again, actually people will become disbelievers. And before that, as well, people are disbelievers. So this coming together of religions and believing in the one true religion, when people will leave Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, will happen in the time of Isa alayhi salam, because he was a representative of the prophets, and a majority of the humanity, large number of humanity follows his religion. Not truly as Islam he preached, but they say we follow Jesus, son of Mary. So he will, because he is a prophet, he will bring the people to one religion and reject the wrong ones. Only then this difference will finish. The difference of firqas, ye Salafi hai, ye Falah hai, ye Shia hai, all these. The main firqas are two, Ahl Sunnah and Shia really. Salafis, they are also Kharijis, offshoots of from Ahl Sunnah. Or Shia or Sunnah, they are all offshoots of this. These are the two main sects actually from which the others are offshoots of. फिरके जो हैं वो दो से बने हैं सारे, अहले सुन्नत से निकले हैं, कोई शिया से निकले हैं बस. तो ये कब होंगे एक? When will they become one and reject the false one and come true? Because there are two main firqas. शिया बड़ा फिरका है, बाकी तो अहले सुन्नत का तो है ही हक. Imam Mahdi, because he will come. He will bring the firqas together and tell who is firqa. Because Isa alayhi salam will deal with the problems of religion because he is a prophet. And Imam Mahdi is a scholar and wali of this ummah. He will solve the problem of the sects. And because like Christians believe in Jesus, Shias believe in Imam Mahdi anyway. They are waiting anyway. So when he will say that this is the true sect, all of them will believe, all of Christians will believe Jesus Christ, except a few. So before that, this is not going to happen. इससे पहले ये नहीं होगा, इसलिए आप तंग ना करें. Don't become stressful. There will be people saying this is wrong, this is right all the time. ऐसा होगा. तो इसलिए try to pass this time with forbearance and peace and inviting others with wisdom and nasiha, because it's not going to end. The hadith said it's going to end. The difference of firqas is going to end of Imam Mahdi's time. फिरकों का इख्तलाफ इमाम महदी के दौर में ख़त्म होगा और मज़ाहिब दीनों का इख्तलाफ ईसा अलैहिस्सलाम के दौर में ख़त्म होगा. तो इसलिए when we know that, then don't become agitated. Just actually take it easy, learn wisdom and convey the message to others. If they accept, they will remain there. वो यहीं रहेंगे. हुज़ूर अलैहिस्सलाम ने फरमाया कि मेरे बाद 30 दज्जाल होंगे जो हर एक उनमें समझेगा मैं नबी हूँ. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there will be 30 dajjalin after me. Every one of them will consider that he is a prophet. होंगे कुछ आगे, कुछ अभी आएंगे, कुछ अभी आएंगे. There will be people coming who will be claiming all these things. So inshallah to kuffar, but we are like, we have a hukum to pray, we have hukum to give dawah. जब जैसे हमें नमाज का हुक्म है, दावत का हुक्म है, वो तो देनी है, लेकिन उसके लिए फिर सीखना पड़ता है. अभी तो हम अपना मसला हल कर रहे हैं. वी हैव नॉट रीच्ड द प्लेजर ऑफ अल्लाह. हम उधर भी शैतान की दुनिया में फिर रहे हैं. वन पार्ट इज शैतानिक, वन पार्ट इज मुहम्मदी इन अस. तो वो भी करना है. And at the same time, actually give dawah both at the same time. But yet we have to deal with ourselves as well. We can't forget ourselves. कि हमारी जिंदगी क्या है, हमारे घर वालों की, खानदान and others. People will believe, disbelieve. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his family, some people didn't believe. He presented them clearly. They said, we are happy with where we are. That some people from foreign countries, like Hazrat Bilal, the Negus, Najashi, Hazrat Najashi radiallahu anh, the king of Habsha, they believed whilst not even seeing Rasulullah. He and Hazrat Uwais Qarni lived in the time of the Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam, but didn't see. So people, there's example for people in the life of Najashi, Negus. If you are a person of authority, you still can gain closeness to Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even you come after, you don't see them. If you are a normal person and ordinary, you can still gain. Hazrat Uwais Qarni was not a leader or in the sense of worldly leader, but he was obviously spiritually a very high-ranking person. He was a person grazing sheep. So I mentioned to you that yesterday, ये होता है इल्म की बात जो है. आपने हदीस सुनी, अल्लाह की इबादत इस तरह करो जिस तरह गोया उसे देख रहे हो. मैंने आपको, I mentioned to you there are 3 रिवायत. अब आपके इल्म, आप किसी को जाके बताएंगे, if you tell, वो कहेगा नहीं मैंने तो सुना ही नहीं आज तक. I've never heard there are 2 others. आपको 3 बताई थी, आज बता रहा हूँ चौथी भी है. चलो जी, अब आप बात तीसरी है, कोई आपको चौथी बताएगा, someone tell you 4, कहेंगे no, we've never heard it. So those people who say when you mention something of knowledge to them, जब किसी को कहते हैं कोई इल्म की बात, तो वो कहते हैं बाद दफा, जी मैंने नहीं सुना, that I've not heard it. तो इसका मतलब यह है कि उसने सारा इल्म पढ़ लिया है, The meaning is that he's read all the knowledge. That's why he's saying the knowledge which I have read, I don't see in there. And maybe he hasn't got 1 millionth of knowledge. उसने 10वां हिस्सा भी याद नहीं, 10 हदीसें ज़ुबानी याद नहीं. हदीसें याद होना तो एक तरफ है, हदीस की 250 बुक्स हैं, उनके ही नाम सुना दो, चलो हदीसें बाद छोड़ दो. You say, I've never heard this, I've never heard this. Okay, this is a very detailed knowledge. हदीस याद होना, 4 लाख हदीस पढ़ना, 500,000 हदीस to read at least. चलो वो नहीं तो आप हदीसों के किताबों के नाम ही बता दें. सिर्फ बुखारी पता है, वो भी नाम नहीं है किताब का. There is no book called Bukhari in the world. बुखारी शरीफ का नाम बुखारी नहीं है. ये जो बुखारी करते हैं इनको नाम का भी नहीं पता किताब का. The book of which Imam Bukhari wrote of Hadith is not name. His name is not Bukhari. The name Imam Bukhari है. Bukhari is the name of the person who wrote, not the book. बुखारी वो जिसने लिखी है उनका नाम है, उनका भी नहीं बल्कि उनकी सिटी का नाम है. इज एट्रीब्यूटेड टू, ही हैज अ डिफरेंट नेम. तो बुक कौन बताएगा बुखारी शरीफ का क्या नाम है? आप रोज सुनते हैं. हु कैन टेल मी द नेम ऑफ द बुक ऑफ इमाम बुखारी रोट ऑफ हदीस? हाँ जी, ये क्वेश्चन है. आपकी मुसलमान है, पढ़ते हैं, आपको पता तो चले ना इल्म क्या होता है. कौन बताएगा व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ द बुक विच इमाम बुखारी रोट ऑफ हदीस, विच पीपल से बुखारी शरीफ, सही बुखारी. Yes, brother. Fath al-Bari is the commentary of Bukhari. Fath al-Bari was written about 300 years after. 300 साल बाद लिखी गई. It is, mashallah, very good, one of the very detailed commentary. वो बुखारी शरीफ शरह है. It is a sharh of. और कोई, anyone else? Sorry? Say again. Book of Hadith. Imam Bukhari didn't speak English. I know that. He's saying that Bukhari's name is Book of Hadith, but I just informed him that Imam Bukhari lived in Russia. He might have spoken Russian language, but not English. मौलाना मुस्तफ़ा साहब बताएंगे. He studied in Jamia Azhar and माशाल्लाह. आप जी जी हाँ, that's partly, that is the name, a Jami us-Sahih. That was Imam Bukhari written, the collection of the Sahih Hadith, the collection Jami us-Sahih. But this is also part. ये भी एक हिस्सा है नाम का, आगे भी है थोड़ा. तो ये जो ज्यादा बुखारी करती, इसलिए वो कहते हैं ना कि भाई जो बे इश्क नबी पढ़ता है बुखारी, बुखार आता है उसको नहीं आती बुखारी. तो इनको बुखार आता है, बुखार. They get fever rather than actually understanding of Bukhari. वो बुखार आता है उनको. Because the ishq, the love of the Prophet, love of the companions and the love of the Aimma who have, they get the understanding from it. So people who say that we never heard this, they are making a very big claim. वो बहुत बड़ा दावा कर रहे हैं. वो गोया कह रहे हैं कि सारा इल्म तो हमने पढ़ लिया है, वो याद है हमें. आप जो बता रहे हैं ये हमने तो नहीं पढ़ा. जो तो उनको मैं कह रहा हूँ कि 250 हदीस की किताबें हैं, चलो उनके नाम ही 200 के बता दो तो मान लें भाई चलो कुछ तो पता होगा आपको. और आपने देखा, पता कर लिया कि एक का नाम भी सही नहीं आता और कईयों का तो पता ही नहीं है. Some books of hadith people even have never heard. उन्होंने सुना सही यानी बुखारी, मुस्लिम, these were the names of actually scholars he wrote. इमाम अबू दाऊद, मुस्नद अहमद बिन हम्बल है और इस तरह की है. सही इब्ने हब्बान, हाकिम, अल मुस्तदरक, ये इस तरह की फेमस बुक्स people normally have actually heard about. सही इब्ने खुज़ैमा, अबू शेख, ये भी हदीस की किताब का नाम है, अबू शेख, बाजार, ये these are the books of the name of हदीस. इस तरह और भी हैं, 250 से भी ज़्यादा हैं. तो इल्म जो, तो इस तरह नहीं कहना चाहिए. One shouldn't say I've never heard, but one should try to learn. An Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu ta'ala, narrated from Anas ibn Malik, qala qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, कि Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ने फरमाया, al ihsanu an ta'mala lillahi ka'annaka tarahu. Hazrat Anas bin Malik says that I heard from the Messenger of Allah, he said that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, ihsan क्या है कि अल्लाह के लिए अमल करना. एक तो अमल करना, अल्लाह के लिए अमल करना इस तरह गोया तुम अल्लाह को देख रहे हो, यानी इखलास के साथ अमल करना गोया तुम अल्लाह को देख रहे हो. टू डू एक्ट विद सिंसेरिटी फॉर अल्लाह एज दो यू आर लुकिंग एट अल्लाह. फ़इल्लम तकुन तराहु फ़इन्नहु यराक. अगर ये नहीं, इफ यू हैवंट गॉट दैट, फिर अगर तू उसे नहीं देख सकता तो यकीनन वो तुझे देख रहा है. ये किस किताब में है? इब्नुर रबी, ये हदीस की किताब है, आपने सुनी ही नहीं होगी. आप पता नहीं, और रबी पता नहीं क्या को खाने की चीज है. इज अ बुक ऑफ हदीस कॉल्ड इब्नुर रबी. सेंचुरीज बिफोर, बहुत साल हो गए. ये उस हदीस, ये दिस इज नरेटेड इन दैट बुक. अब ये हदीस तो वो पढ़ेगा हु हैज एक्सेस टू दैट बुक. तो बुक की एक्सेस होना तो एक तरफ, उसने तो सुना भी नहीं किताब का नाम, तो कैसे पता होगा उसको? हाउ विल ही नो? So these, most of the people today, they maybe Bukhari, Sahih Bukhari or Muslim few, and then they don't know fully as well, because I said that these scholars, Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim, they've been living and practicing in when Hanafi law was actually prevalent and practiced all over the Ummah, all over the world. And that's how it's been happening. Both, in the both caliphate times. Anyway, सवाल जो आपसे पूछना है, जो कल आपने मुझसे पूछा था, यू आस्क्ड मी, टुडे आई एम गोइंग टू आस्क यू, कि अल्लाह की इबादत इस तरह करना गोया अल्लाह को बंदा देख रहा है, या अल्लाह के लिए अमल करना, टू प्रैक्टिस यानी डीड फॉर अल्लाह, कि गोया तुम अल्लाह को देख रहे हो. तो बंदा किस तरह कर सकता है अमल, अल्लाह को गोया देख रहा है, जब वो अल्लाह को देख ही नहीं सकता. When a person cannot see Allah, how can he worship Allah as though he is seeing Him? When that is for sure, the person cannot see. अली अशरफ, आप बताएं. माशाल्लाह. Think of Allah. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying that you worship Allah as though you see Him. The question I'm asking is, how can you practice an amal like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying, that he said that practice, the amal should be as though you see Him. So how can you practice an amal or do ibadat when you don't see Him? That is partly right what you said, think. But how can you practice as though you see Allah? उर्दू वाले कोई बताएं, उर्दू वाले, कि भाई अल्लाह की इबादत इस तरह करना गोया अल्लाह को बंदा देख रहा है, तो वो जब देख सकता ही नहीं तो वो इबादत किस तरह उस तरह कर सकता है? जी. फिर दोहरा दें ताकि बात आ जाए।
जी उसकी प्रैक्टिस सबसे पहले बंदा अपनी इबादत में करे जी, कि गोया इबादत इस तरह करे कि अल्लाह ताला मुझे देख रहे हैं जी। जैसे नमाज में होता है वो हजूरी में आना, इस तरह उसके बाद फिर अल्लाह का खौफ अपने में पैदा करे। उसकी मिसाल इस तरह है जिस तरह बंदा शेर को देखता है तो वो दो काम करता है, एक तो बाहर से हरकत करता है, फिर उसके अंदर में वो खौफ पैदा होता है जिससे वो महसूस करता है। उसके बाद तीसरा है जब ये चीज़ें पैदा हो जाती हैं तो फिर वो सारी ज़िंदगी जो है ना वो अपनी मुकम्मल ज़िंदगी जो हजूरी में गुजारता है, कि जिस तरह अल्लाह ताला को गोया देख रहा है। गुनाह जब करता है तो करने लगता है तो उसका ख्याल जाता है कि अल्लाह ताला मुझे देख रहा है, गोया मैं ग़ुलाम हूँ, आका के सामने नाफरमानी किस तरह कर सकता हूँ। इस तरह जब वो इबादत करता है तो वो ये सोचता है कि अल्लाह मुझे देख रहे हैं, इस तरह मैं इबादत करूँ कि गोया जब अगर बंदे का उस गोया कि अल्लाह ताला मुझे देख रहे हैं तो मैं इस हाल में इबादत करूं कि मेरी इबादत में वो हजूरी पैदा हो।
माशाल्लाह आपने अच्छा जवाब दिया, लेकिन ये तो दूसरे जुज़ के मतलब है कि अल्लाह मुझे देख रहा है, अल्लाह इज़ लुकिंग एट मी, कि भाई अल्लाह मुझे देख रहा है, ये तो वो नेक्स्ट पार्ट है। वो ये भी बात आपकी ठीक है, लेकिन पहला हिस्सा जो है कि तुम अल्लाह को गोया देख रहे हो, वो किस तरह करना है, आंसर आपने दिया उसमें, लेकिन उसमें ये नहीं कहना कि भाई अल्लाह मुझे देख रहा है, क्योंकि वो अगले हिस्से में आता है, फिर तो बंदा दूसरी जगह में चला गया। यस ब्रदर।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम सलाम।
मैंने जहाँ तक समझा अल्लाह ताला की तख्लीक की तरफ अगर रुजू किया जाए तो फिर उसकी अहमियत ज़ाहिर हो सकती है।
नहीं, पर इसमें तो हुज़ूर अलैहिस्सलाम में तख्लीक को नहीं देखना, खालिक को देख गोया देख रहे हो, इबादत इस तरह गोया खालिक को देख रहे हो, मखलूक को नहीं। मखलूक का तो नफ़ी करती है, वो फिर बीच में आ गई तो कम का गड़बड़ हो जाएगा। मखलूक को जान छड़ानी है। यहाँ अल्लाह फरमा रहे हैं कि यानी कमाल इबादत का ये है कि भाई मखलूक गायब हो जाओ और गोया तुम अल्लाह को हुए देख रहे हो। हाँ, तख्लीक बनाने लेकर यहाँ तख्लीक का बयान नहीं ना, यहाँ खालिक का बयान हो रहा है। वो है जो कुरान हदीस में आता है, वो है यतफक्करू फी खल्क़िस समावाति वल अर्ज़, कि ज़मीन आसमान में गौर करो, वो अल्लाह की मार्फत बढ़ेगी। लेकिन ये इबादत का बयान हो रहा है कि इबादत किस तरह करनी है, किस तसव्वुर के साथ, और अमल किस तसव्वुर के साथ करना है। वो अल्लाह को समझने के लिए है तख्लीक में गौर। वो लहदा हदीसें हैं, यानी अपना कुरान मजीद की आयतें हैं। इन्न फी खल्क़िस समावाति वल अर्ज़ वख्तिलाफ़िल लैली वन नहार लआयातिल लिउलिल अलबाब, कि ज़मीन और आसमान में गौर करने वाले वो करें। फिर जो है ये समझदार लोग, यानी वे क्या करते हैं, अल्लज़ीना यज़कुरूनल्लाह क़ियामन व क़ुऊदन व अला जुनूबिहिम यतफ़क्करून फ़ी ख़ल्क़ि, ज़मीन आसमान में फ़िक्र करते हैं, तफ़क्कुर करते हैं, लेकिन ज़िक्र जो है वो अल्लाह का, यज़कुरून अल्लाह, उधर नहीं, फिर मखलूक की तरफ तवज्जो नहीं। जी Yes, brother Shafiq.
From my understanding, I think the Prophet ﷺ saying to worship Allah as though you see Him means use the power of imagination which Allah has given you, and that we practice in the form of muraqabah. So we use the power of imagination and to think of Allah and to bring that as much as we can from our understanding.
But that is the second part of the hadith. Allah is watching you.
For us to use imagination to see, to try to imagine Allah, not that Allah is watching me. For me to use my imagination to say,
you cannot use any person who uses imagination, he will become astray. जो imagination use करेगा अल्लाह को देखने के लिए, वो गुमराह हो जाएगा, वो गुमराह हो जाएगा। कोई what does Subhan Allah mean? Subhan, he is beyond imagination. Subhan Allah means Allah is beyond imagination. You cannot. This is masla of aqeedah now. That's why I say knowledge is very very important. अब देखें ना, यहाँ अकीदे का मसला आ गया। यहाँ बंदा कुफर की तरफ जा सकता है, मुजस्समा की तरफ जा सकता है, जिसने अल्लाह को इमेजिन कर लिया, अल्लाह को इमेजिन कर लिया। If he imagines about Allah, then actually it's danger that he can go slowly astray, because Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabbagh says that anything you imagine light or anything. सैयदना अब्दुल अजीज दब्बाग ने फरमाया जो चीज़ जिसका भी तुम तसव्वुर करोगे, वो नूर का तसव्वुर करो या किसी मखलूक या किसी ऐसी चीज़ का कि जो बिल्कुल किसी भी चीज़ का तसव्वुर कर लो। मसला तो ऐसा दरख्त है वो जो चल रहा है, ऐसा जानवर है जिसका सर जो है वो शेर का है और टांगे जो हैं वो चीते की हैं और कान जो है वो किसी और जानवर का। फरमाया जो भी जिस शक्ल का भी तुम तसव्वुर करोगे या इमेजिन करोगे उस तरह की वो मखलूक है, वो मखलूक कहीं मौजूद होगी। इंसान के ज़हन में यू कैन इमेजिनेशन ऑफ द खालिक एक्चुअली डज नॉट एक्चुअली कम। इफ इट एनीथिंग कम्स be it in the form of light or anything, it will be creation. Or you think about the Kaaba, think about the name of Allah, it will be the name of Allah, not Allah. So Prophet ﷺ is saying that you worship Allah as though you see Him. The question I am asking is that how can we worship, focus on that part, how can we practice as though we are looking at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He didn't say you are looking at Allah, because you are explaining how can we look at Allah, you imagine. No. Yeah, this is not. He wants us to do an amal, a practice in a particular way, and the quality he is mentioning that if you do it like this, you will get that quality in the amal.
Assalamu alaikum. He says though Allah, the reaction, what would your reaction be? It's as though if Allah was in front of you, try to do that effect.
Sorry?
Your reactions, if you're seeing Allah, as though you're seeing Allah, what reactions would it be? Try to do it to that effect.
Right. And that is closer to what I mean. So explain it a little bit more.
To see Allah as though you're seeing Allah, and if Allah was in front of you, what your reactions would be during your amals or whatever you're doing. So try to do that to the effect that you're seeing Allah.
That is right. That's what the brother is saying closer to him. Yes, you want to say something?
फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर बंदा जो है ना ये इमेजिन करे नमाज में कि वो पुलसरात पे खड़ा है, ये गलत है।
मैं कह रहा हूँ अल्लाह को उस बारे में सोचना और अल्लाह के तवज्जो करने, आप है पुलसरात
नहीं वो क्यों, बिल्कुल सही बात, लेकिन ये है कि वो बंदे की जरा ना वो तवज्जो उसी तरफ होती है ना कि अल्लाह की तरफ ही।
वो ठीक है आपकी बात पुलसरात, लेकिन जो है हुजूर अलैहिस्सलाम ने कभी नहीं फरमाया भाई नमाज इस तरह पढ़ोगे या तुम पुलसरात पर खड़े हो। पुलसरात पर खड़ेगा उसको आग नजर आएगी और पुलसरात भी देखा नहीं है। ये आइडियाज हैं, दीज आर आइडियाज ऑफ पीपल, उलमा। ये उलमा की अपनी बातें हैं, बुजुर्गों की नसीहतें हो सकती हैं, हदीस नहीं। ये बंदों का अपना तसव्वुर है। जन्नत इज द राइट, जन्नत राइट में है ही नहीं है पुलसरात पे, ये है ही झूठ। जन्नत इज क्रॉस द ब्रिज ऑफ सरात, वो नीचे तो जहन्नम है, वो दाईं तरफ देखेंगे जहन्नम है और बाईं तरफ जन्नत है। हाउ कैन यू इमेजिन फॉल्सहुड? मतलब यानी जब अल्लाह ने जिस तरह पैदा ही नहीं किया हुआ उसको। देखिए ये है फॉर एग्जांपल हेल फायर, द ब्रिज ऑफ सिरात इज इरेक्टेड ऑन इट, वो उसके ऊपर बिछाया गया है। राइट साइड इट्स हेल, लेफ्ट साइड इट्स हेल, अंडरनीथ इट्स हेल, नीचे भी जहन्नम, दाईं तरफ बाईं तरफ जन्नत जो है। इट इज अक्रॉस द ब्रिज ऑफ सिरात। सो दीज आर व्हाट यू आर सेइंग, ये आइडियाज हैं विच आर रिटन इन द बुक्स, जो किताबों में लिखे। इसलिए कहते हैं अभी किताबों से दीन की इल्म नहीं समझ आता बंदे को, वो कुछ लिखा कुछ होता है, बंदा कुछ समझ रहा होता है। तो इसलिए, लेकिन हाँ नमाज की तवज्जो के लिए एक दर्जा है रूहानी, स्पिरिचुअल, वन इज स्पिरिचुअल लेवल विच वन थिंक्स अबाउट हेल फायर, ब्रिज ऑफ सिरात, इट कैन एक्चुअली improve your prayer. But we are not discussing the spiritual levels of prayer, but we are discussing the perfection, the highest level of actually worship, which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned, the last level. Yeah. Yes, brother, you wanted to say something? Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. As you said yesterday, pray as though you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you also said that you won't be able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the prayer. But you said you give some seer where not imagine because you cannot imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's characteristics at all, so you don't want to fall into that trap. However, I think you said, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that Prophet ﷺ imagine so get into a state where, you know, even though you cannot see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to put yourself into a state that you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That is right, mashallah.
And to put yourself into that state first, but don't try to attribute any quality, because our mind is not made to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We will never be able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but to try to put ourselves into a condition that we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That is right, mashallah. Yes, brother. आपने सही समझा है, mashallah.
I just want a bit of clarification on when you say worship Allah as though you see Him, because my understanding is that you need to know who Allah is and who He isn't, and that is how I understand it, is through His attributes and knowledge of Allah. So even if I'm trying to worship Allah so I see Him, I don't really know enough about who He really is, or I'm learning. So if I imagine that, you know, I can see Allah, I mean, how I would respond, I'm not sure how I'd really know. I know of His, the immensity of His creation and all of these things, but I thought that we would need to know about, you know, His attributes in order to be able to respond in terms of how we worship Allah as if we would see Him.
Right, that's good. MashaAllah, that is good as well, because as the brother is saying, that we don't know the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we, in order to imagine or react actually like as though we are seeing Allah, what we should know is the qualities of Allah. The qualities of Allah, if you know, you can react. For example, if you know Allah is all powerful, or you can be fearful. If Allah is the creator, your heart will be inclined. Allah is merciful, you can actually, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deserves a lot of awe that can come. So that is why exactly Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned after this sentence the quality of Allah, one quality of Allah. Allah is looking, Allahu Basir. Exactly what you are saying. So Prophet ﷺ actually mentioned and picked up a quality of Allah in the next part of the hadith, that अल्लाह हज़ूर अलैहिस्सलाम ने पहले तो उर्दू में समझ लें कि जो भाइयों ने फरमाया, इंग्लिश वालों ने, उन्होंने भी सही, माशाल्लाह ब्रदर शबीर ने भी, इन्होंने भी, कि ये अल्लाह से देखने या ना देखने का तल्लक नहीं है इस जुमले का अल्लाह के साथ। ये सिर्फ ये कहा जा रहा है कि अगर तुम अल्लाह को देख रहे होते तो किस तरह खड़े होते, क्या दाढ़ी में इस तरह हाथ मारते या कुछ पग वगैरह पगड़ी वगैरह सही करते, तुम्हारे अंदर क्या कैफियत होती और तुम्हारे ज़ाहिर में क्या होता, अंदर क्या कैफियत होती ज़ाहिर। तो इस तरह एक्टिंग करनी, एक्टिंग जैसे एक तसन्नो, यानी सिर्फ कोशिश करनी कि मैं अगर अल्लाह को देख रहा होता तो मैं क्या मेरा हाल होता। जैसे मैंने कल मिसाल दी थी आपको कि शेर को जो है, शेर तो यहाँ नहीं है लेकिन शेर की क्वालिटी का पता है, भाई शेर खाता है, ये सांप है, सांप की क्वालिटी है एक कि वो बंदे को कत्ल कर सकता है, मतलब जहर है, फियर, एक ही सिफ्त उसकी फियर, तो वो बंदे को पता है। तो मैं कहता हूँ कि भाई आप ये सोचें कि एक नुकसान पहुँचाने वाली चीज़, मिसाल के तौर पर सांप, ये सांप है, यहाँ है नहीं है, आप नहीं देख रहे सांप को, अल्लाह को नहीं देख रहे, अगर यहाँ सांप गिर जाए ऊपर छत से तो आप कैसे रिएक्ट करेंगे? You might show that you will scream, you will run, you will bump into the wall. आप शायद बताएं कि मैं चीखूंगा, मैं पीछे गिर जाऊंगा, फिर एक्टिंग करके बताएं। तो ये होगा कि भाई एक्टिंग, जिस तरह ये फायर ड्रिल होती है, मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड। देखो ना, ये एक हदीस का टुकड़ा है, सारी जिंदगी पड़े या समझ कोई नहीं, बस सरसी सुन लीजिए। अल्लाह की इबादत इस तरह करो गोया देख रहे हो, ना कहने वाले को समझ ना सुनने वालों को समझ। वो भी चुप कर रहे थे, वो भी चुप कर रहे थे, चलो जी आगे बस। तो पाना कैसे, हाउ दे आर गोइंग टू रीच दिस? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जिस तरह फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैनी कंपनीज दे से वी आर गोइंग टू डू एन फायर ड्रिल। फायर ड्रिल का मतलब है आग लगी नहीं है, मिसाल के तौर पर हॉस्पिटल में या कंपनी में आग नहीं लगी, बट दे से वी विल पुट द अलार्म ऑन, हम अलार्म बजा देंगे, एंड ऑल हंड्रेड्स एंड पीपल दे शुड एज अ ट्रेनिंग, एक मश्क के तौर पर एज अ ट्रेनिंग रिएक्ट दैट एज दो इट्स रियल फायर। तो आप क्या करेंगे उस वक्त? फिर उनको कहते हैं सो as soon as the alarm goes on they know it's a fire drill। तो फिर आप देखते हैं कि they follow the exit routes, they follow the emergency routes। वो emergency को सारे रूट फॉलो करके लोग बाहर निकल आते हैं, they come outside and you say have you seen fire? हाँ, आग तो हमने देखी नहीं, आग तो है ही नहीं, हमें भी पता है आग नहीं। So the person who is worshipping Allah, he knows he can't see Allah, he can't see Allah। जिस तरह, लेकिन like these people who will react to fire alarm and run outside the building, इस तरह जो है a person who is worshipping or doing amal, like Rasulullah said, live life as though you see Allah, meaning in that life he should react as though actually he is seeing Allah, although there is no। So the reaction is concerned, the reaction, वो जो रद्द अमल है वो मकसूद है। तो वो दोनों तरह, it can be achieved both ways। If you, for example, the first is that as though you are seeing Allah, but that same reaction, same level of worship can be attained if you really believe, which is truth, that Allah is seeing you। Same reaction can be attained। अगर आपको पता मैं आंखें नीचे की हुई हैं या बंद, अल्लाह मुझे देख रहा है, तो वो रिएक्शन सेम होगा। The reaction you can have the same। Let's say you have your eyes closed and there is a snake, you're not seeing the snake, a snake is looking at you। Now you know if snake is looking at you, must be somewhere here। अगर देख रहा है सांप तो वो यहीं कहीं है ना, इसीलिए देख रहा है। पर यही तसव्वुर करो सांप तुम्हें देख रहा है तुम्हारे सामने। Imagine that the snake is looking at you। तो बंदा रिएक्शन उसका भी खौफ, डर, वो भागेगा, he is going to go। Or if someone says, imagine you won millions pounds, £1 billion, imagine you won £1 billion, how will you react? How will you react? The person can show a reaction, I'll be happy, I'll laugh, and things, and I'll do this and make this, etc. So वो अपना reaction दिखा सकता है, acting। And also some people do, जैसे किसी को खबर मिल गई उसने लॉटरी जीती है, he did all this reaction and after it was known कि it's a false one। वो लॉटरी जीती है, सब खुशी मना के, वो पता ही नहीं। एक है कि डॉक्टर ने खबर दे दी किसी को कि आपके बेटा होना है, वो खुश कपड़े ला रहे हैं, सारा बेटा होना है, बेटा होना है, बेटा होना है, डॉक्टर ने बताया बेटा होना है, वो बेटी हो गई ना, वो मुंह बना के बैठे, खुशी सारी, मिठाई लाई हुई है, सारा कुछ। भाई एक तस्वर ये बंदे में होने। या फिर फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई गिव यू अनदर इजी एग्जाम्पल। देखो ना, मकसद समझाना है आपको। मसलन फॉर एग्जाम्पल द फिल्म्स they have made, the message or the final legacy recently, final legacy बनाई है ना उन्होंने, देखे कोई बुजुर्ग खड़े हैं, काम आज ही अंदर आए, दरवाजे में ना खड़े हो, क्यों आप हाथ आगे करके खड़े? क्या नंबर है गाड़ी का? हाँ जी, ग्रे एस्ट्रा है, DV10 को ब्लॉक कर दी अगर किसी की है। If you have a car, grey Astra DV10, and inshallah just go and inshallah just park it somewhere else or let the other person go out and you can park it again and come back। वापस आ जाओ फिर। DV10 grey Astra, if someone has that, so and then should go। So I was giving you the example. आप समझे? Now this is a good example to understand. ये और आसान हो जाएगा समझने के लिए. मसल उन्होंने फाइनल लेगेसी बनाई है. The final legacy or the film on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Sahaba. मैसेज बनाई है. उसमें उन्होंने दिखाया है कि that when, for example, Hazrat Hamza रज़ी अल्लाह ताला अन्हु comes to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or when Abu Sufyan came to Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, when Hazrat Khalid bin Walid came to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to bring iman. उन्होंने वो मंजर दिखाया कि जब खालिद बिन वलीद तलवार लेके ईमान लाने के लिए आए हुजूर अलैहिस्सलाम के सामने, फिर हज़रत अबू सुफियान ईमान लाने के लिए खैमे में आए, और हज़रत हमज़ा came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he saw him injured or wounded. Now you know and me know, हमें आपको पता है कि वहाँ हुजूर अलैहिस्सलाम तो आप ज़ाहिरी पर्दा फरमा गए, वो तो वहाँ नहीं जब वो फिल्म बना रहे, वो तो उन्होंने एक्टर डाले हुए हैं. हजरत दिस इज हजरत हमजा, दिस इज हजरत अबू सुफियान, दिस पर्सन रिप्रेजेंट हजरत खालिद बिन वलीद. लेकिन द इफेक्ट, द फेशियल फीचर दे शो, वो आप भी देखिए. आज आपको दिखाएंगे इफ देयर इज फाइनल लेगेसी एपिसोड समवेयर, आई विल शो यू वन और टू पार्ट्स दैट दे आस्क्ड दीज एक्टर्स टू दैट व्हेन दे आर कमिंग टुवर्ड्स द कैमरा, सामने तो कैमरा है, नबी अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम तो नहीं, but they've given this imagery all, and they've not seen Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well. They know their Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they've not seen him. उनको नहीं पता वो हुजूर अलैहि सलाम के बारे में. But they come with such awe and respect and humbleness and honor. They actually bring themselves in. Really, it feels that if they were going in front of Rasul, that's how they will go. बंदे को लगता है कि अगर हुजूर अलैहिस्सलाम इनको देख रहे होते वहां तो ये ऐसे ही गए होंगे. बंदा वो तसव्वुर, वो एक्टिंग उन्होंने ऐसी की हुई है. They've acted like this. उन्होंने एक्टिंग ऐसी की हुई है. They've acted. So and me and you, हम तो सबको पता है कि वो तो कैमरे को देख रहे हैं. Or they've shown the scene when Rasulullah sallam came to Medina Sharif first time. वो सीन उन्होंने दिखाया है कि जब हुजूर अलैहि सल्लम पहली दफ़ा मदीना आए तो अहले मदीना ने किस तरह खुशी मनाई. हाउ दे सेलिब्रेटेड द कमिंग ऑफ रसूल. यू सी द पीपल, द वुमेन एक्चुअली कमिंग आउट, द गर्ल, लिटिल गर्ल्स सिंगिंग विद दफ, एंड द सहाबा एक्चुअली वेविंग. ऑल सीन्स दे हैव शोन, बट देयर इज नो रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम देयर. हुजूर अलैहि सल्लम तो है ही नहीं वहाँ. कैमरे पे ऊँटनी दिखाई है, ऊँटनी के ऊपर बंदा तो बैठा ही नहीं. So the actors who acted, they also said that we found this difficult really. We did do it, but we find it difficult to look at an empty camel and imagine Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is there. Or look at the camera and thinking that I am in front presence of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. लेकिन उन्होंने एक्टिंग तो की है ना. बस ये हदीस में बयान हो रहा है कि तुम पूरी एक्टिंग इस तरह, अमल इस तरह करो कि गोया तुम अल्लाह को देख रहे होते. तो किस तरह अमल करते? इफ यू वर टू सी अल्लाह, हाउ विल यू बी रिएक्टिंग? हमारे क्या पता, हम अपने कपड़े बदल के आए और वी डू सर्टेन थिंग्स, सजदे लंबे करें, रुकू लंबे करें, और वी विल एक्चुअली टर्न आवर गेजेस फ्रॉम लुकिंग एट ना महरम. हम गाली ना दें, गुस्सा आया भी हो तो गाली ना दें. When we are angry, we will not swear कि हम अल्लाह पाक के पास है. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying that you react. If you were seeing Allah, how would you live your life? That's so he knew فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ, you won't be able to do that. He mentioned in the hadith. أَن تَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ كَانَ فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ. अगर तू उसे नहीं, if you can't see him, he knows you can't see him. But he said you will see him in the Jannah. वो तो बयान कर दिया. He himself mentioned you don't see him. You don't see him, so you don't see him. But the same effect can be developed by thinking فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ, that Allah is looking at you. वही सेम, वही असर बंदा, वही रद्द अमल वो बंदा अपनी ज़िंदगी में ला सकता है कि सिर्फ इस सोचने से कि अल्लाह देख रहा है. अल्लाह की एक सिफत, one quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you bring into your mind, then you can actually react in that way. Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to say, can you bring other qualities in, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful and the most compassionate, and think about these qualities as well as the all-seeing?
You can bring other qualities, but you begin with this one, because the others are not going to have this effect which this quality have. जो देखने की, जब अल्लाह देख रहा है, जो इसका असर होना है, इसका असर उसका नहीं होगा कि अल्लाह रहमान और रहीम है, उसका असर वो नहीं होगा. For example, a person, you know, your, for example, father or someone loves you, they are very merciful person, compassionate person. आपको नॉलेज है कि वो बहुत रहम दिल है, लेकिन that's not going to bring any effect in you as such. अगर आपको ये पता हो कि that person is looking at you, with you, अगर आपको पता वो बंदा आपको देख रहा है, it will have a different effect. So you begin from this one, and then you can think about different sifat of Allah. Like in the Surah Fatiha में तो यही है ना, they are the sifat of Allah mentioned there. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So they can go hand in hand. The being who is looking at me, he is Rabbil Alameen as well. The being you are said about Rahman Rahim is coming. The being who is looking at me, जो अल्लाह मुझे देख रहा है, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, वो Rahman Ar-Rahim है. So these two go in hand. There's no conflict. But gradually, firstly, you become strong in this. That's why in the spiritual levels of prayer, we focus on this quality that Allah is looking, He is with me, He is watching me, because these are the qualities which Allah chose to teach the prophets as well. He Azza wa Jal said to Sayyidina Musa and Harun, Hazrat Musa और Hazrat Harun alayhi salam को जब फ़िरौन की तरफ भेजा, when he sent towards Pharaoh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Musa alayhi salam said that he might kill me, he might do this to me, etc. etc. Allah Azza wa Jal said, इज़हबा, तुम जाओ फ़िरौन की तरफ, इला फ़िरऔन, लेकिन इन्ननी माअकुमा, I am with both of you. My help is with both of you. Asma'u, I am hearing, all hearing. Wa ara, and I am looking and all seeing. I will see what's happening there. I will be with you. I'll be hearing what the Pharaoh is saying there. Don't think I am unaware. तो अल्लाह पाक ने कुरान मजीद में ये तीन चाबियां कि भाई हर वक्त ये ज़हन में रखो, अल्लाह मेरे साथ है, अल्लाह देख रहा है, अल्लाह सुन. इसलिए तरीका मुहम्मदिया में this is mentioned in through every aspect, Hajj, Umrah, Ibadat, other things. It is, we train people, because this is Rasulullah SAW said that you should live, worship Allah like this, thinking like this, and even living your life like this outside as well. Yes, brother, you want to mention?
Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to say, is there an order to follow of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's 99 qualities that you should follow? First, you start with the all-seeing, then you move on to another one, say the all-hearing. Is there a particular order? Or after you've developed the all-seeing, you could go and, of your choice, think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala how you want to?
The order is mentioned in Surah Al-Fatiha. Order is mentioned. You follow that order. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. You first think, Rabbil Alameen, the one who is feeding all. That being is looking at me, he is with me, who is sustainer of all the universe. So how can he not sustain me? वो मुझे क्यों नहीं दे सकता? मैं क्यों पैसे के बारे में सोचूं, दुनिया के बारे में सोचूं? वो सबको पाल रहा है, तो मैं दुनिया के बारे में, वो मुझे भी पालेगा. वो हस्ती मुझे देख रही है, मुझे क्या जरूरत है देखने सोचने की जरूरत है. And then Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, these qualities. Then Malik Yawmiddin, the Jalal of Allah, the accountability, the fear of Allah come after Rahmah. Then you develop your own relationship. Iyyaka na'budu, He is Ma'bud. We worship you. Then the quality of Ma'bud. And then Iyyaka nasta'in, this is another quality. He is Musta'in, we are Musta'in, and we seek help from Him. Seeking help from Allah. He is the helper. He is helper, Iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina, then the quality of Hadi, the guide. Then you think about this quality. He is Hadi. He is the guide. Sirat al-Mustaqim. You think about then actually the path to Allah. Allah guide me toward the path which goes toward you. Then you think about the favors of Allah. Sirat alladhina an'amta alayhim. Mun'im, the one who favors people, sends favors, gives gifts, and have grace on people. Sirat alladhina an'amta alayhim. वो जो इनाम करते हैं अल्लाह पाक, इनाम करने वाली हस्ती. Mun'im, the one who does favor. फिर आप ये कहते हैं अनअमता अलैहिम, फिर आप उनको सोचते हैं कि the one who guide, Allah guided. फिर आप सोचते हैं गैरिल मग़दूबी, then you think about the ग़ज़ब of Allah. Then you think about the ग़ज़ब of Allah. अल्लाह के ग़ज़ब के बारे में सोचना, अल्लाह नाराज हो गया तो क्या होगा. Then you think about वलद्दालीन, that if Allah leaves you astray or he does not guide you, you will be astray. फिर अल्लाह की सिफत इसके कि अल्लाह से मुझे नाराज हो गया तो उसने मुझे छोड़ दिया तो मैं गुमराह हो जाऊँ. Allah does not misguide anyone. People who misguide themselves, but Allah then if becomes displeased, he leaves them. So whoever Allah leaves them automatically becomes astray. So you can say that Allah leads astray, but in the sense that person really does wrong, Allah just abandons him. And whoever Allah abandons, that person is lost. वो लास्ट हो गया. मतलब नेविगेशन सिस्टम है विदाउट एनी एग्जाम्पल. तो यू आर द नेविगेशन इज योर गाइड. अब आप जो है गलत रास्ता ले लेते हैं. यू गो इंटेंशनली समवेयर रॉन्ग. नेविगेशन कह रहा है इधर जाना है उधर जाना है. नेविगेशन कह रहा है ये बटन नहीं दबाना. यू शुडंट बी स्विचिंग ऑफ द नेविगेशन एंड यू डू दैट. अगर आप कर लो, रूट मिक्स कर दो तो वो आपको छोड़ दे, यू आर अस्ट्रे. देन आप राह गुम कर जाएंगे. राह गुम करने वालों को ही कहते हैं गुम राह, जो राह को गुम कर बैठे हैं. Those who have actually led astray from the path, who forgot the true path. So if the navigation leaves you, आपको तो पता ही नहीं है. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "May yudlilhu fala hadiya la." When Allah leaves someone in misguidance, then there is no one who can guide. फिर हदायत अल्लाह की तरफ से आती. तो क्या सिफात के बारे में सोचना है? Simply we made, our Mashaykh has made it simple. The 10 spiritual levels, there these things are mentioned. But to answer to your question, I've already given. देखें ना सूरत फातिहा में कितनी ब्यूटीफुली अल्लाह की हर सिफत के बारे में, किस ऑर्डर में अल्लाह के बारे सिफात, क्या सिफात सोचनी है. पहले अल्लाह माबूद, अल्लाह की सिवा अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, प्यारी अल्लाह के बारे में एज अ होल अल्लाह बीइंग. फिर रब के बारे में जो पालने वाला है. फिर रहमान, रहमत की सिफत, रहीम, द मोस्ट मर्सीफुल. फिर मालिक, the owner of everything and especially day of judgment. The Jalal, Khawf Allah. Iyaka na'budu ma'bud. The sifat that Allah is the Ilah. He is the Ilah. Wahi Ilah hai sirf. Here Ista'een, yani you say Allah is the helper. Ihdina, Allah is the guide. Sirat, to the path to lead him. An'amta, he is the one who does favor. But who doesn't listen to him, maghdubi, he can also have wrath of Allah can be sure. So Surah Fatiha takes you up and down. It should create a revolution in your mind once you understand it, that your relation, how you interacting with this being. Like our brother said, that if a person thinks about the sifat of Allah, that as though he is looking at Allah, he doesn't know who Allah is, but he takes these qualities, he will have the effect. उस पर वही असर होगा. तो ये है यानी कम अज़ कम एहसान का मतलब, या वो अल्लाह का देखना, अल्लाह को गोया देख रहे हो या अल्लाह का देखना, तो वो आप कम अज़ कम थोड़ा बहुत आपको समझ आई. इसी का नाम है, that's the name which we are saying that the purpose of whole of Islam is to have a strong relationship with Allah and weak with the creation. यही तो बता रहा है. जब आप रिएक्ट इस तरह कर रहे होंगे, when you will be reacting as though Allah is looking at you, relationship with the creation, you won't then consider people are looking at me. अब हम we are a toy in the hand of people. अब हम लोगों के हाथों में उनकी नजरों के खिलौने बने हैं. मैं कहता हूं कि ये किस तरह, what the world, the society, what my peer group, when they look at me, I dress as though they are looking at me. मैं आज इस तरह के कपड़े पहनता हूं कि गोया वो बंदे मुझे देख रहे हैं. जब मैं इस तरह के पहनूंगा, if Allah is looking at me, so then will I have a different dress. I react today like actually as though people are seeing me. मैं इस तरह रिएक्ट कर रहा हूं कि दुनिया देख रही है, मतलब दुनिया देख रही है इस तरह, जी मैं सूटेड बूटेड, ये होना चाहिए, वो होना चाहिए, शेव होनी चाहिए, सर्विंग द पीपल, लुकिंग दैट पीपल आर लुकिंग, लोग देख रहे हैं. तो जो बंदा समझे अभी गोया मैं अल्लाह को देख रहा हूं, ही विल गेट आउट ऑफ दिस आइडिया दैट आई एम लुकिंग एट क्रिएशन. आई वोंट रिएक्ट लाइक आई एम लुकिंग एट क्रिएशन, नोर आई एम गोइंग टू रिएक्ट द क्रिएशन इज लुकिंग एट मी. मैं तो उस तरह करूंगा जिस तरह, देखा ना, गुलाम का काम है कि वो ये देखे, द सर स्लेव शुड थिंक दैट हाउ ही लुक्स इन द आईज ऑफ मास्टर, नॉट इन द आईज ऑफ अदर स्लेव्स. गुलाम का काम है वो ये सोचे कि मैं आका की नजर में कैसा लग रहा हूं, ना कि दूसरे गुलामों की नजर में कैसा लग रहा हूं. वो तो खुद गुलाम है. सो दिस थिंग एक्चुअली डेवलप्स, ये फिर आपका तल्लक जो है वो मजबूत करती है अल्लाह से. एंड दिस इज द एसेंस ऑफ इस्लाम, ईमान, ihsan, एंड ऑल्सो दिस रन्स थ्रू ऑल ऑफ द कोर्स, जस्ट एक्चुअली टीचेस दिस. योग यही बताता है कि भाई हर तरह, इन एवरी पार्ट, हाउ योर एवरी ऑर्गन, हाउ योर माइंड एंड हार्ट एंड बॉडी connects to Allah in different ways, and it gives you this, and then actually pleasure of Allah, अल्लाह की रज़ा. तो आज जो माशाल्लाह यही ख़त्म करते हैं. there have been many things माशाल्लाह you were asked and learned, it will become lengthy otherwise. और कोई बात पूछनी है तो पूछ लें. अस्तग़फिरुल्लाह अल्लज़ी ला इलाहा इल्ला हुवल हय्युल क़य्यूम. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
We talked about the, obviously in a lengthy sense in terms of how we should be conscious of and to try to emulate the fact that we are watching Allah, we are looking at Allah, if not Allah is looking at us. And then you talked about in terms of the different qualities. In terms of the quality of Ar-Razaq, what I wanted to ask was how we can practically implement that in our lives, because myself and I know many people and most of mankind today has a problem with having tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and shaitan is constantly putting this thought of fear of poverty in our hearts and in our minds. Jazakallah.
Quality of Razaq is included in Rabb. Rabb actually has the quality of Razaq in there. And how you practice is simple. There's the answer, meaning practical guidance in the course of Tariqah Muhammadiyah, when we practice that sheet of the stomach. So that's how, especially the question you were asking, for the very reason this course been devised. I put a paracetamol in front of you and you say, brother, when you have headache, what should you do? I say, this paracetamol is for the very reason for your headache. So your course already actually, that quality can come in you through it. It's already systemized, it's already actually structured there. So the matter is just actually to follow that. Otherwise, if you want lip service, this quality is not going to come with just listening and understanding. ईमान सिर्फ जो है सुनने और बताने से बातें पैदा होती हैं, अमल नहीं पैदा होता. सुनने से अमल पैदा होता है, अमल करने से. Practice comes with practice. अब swimming जो है, swimming, you can't learn it by reading books. You can't learn it by actually a whiteboard. That's how you should jump in. That's how you should move. तो उस तरह की नहीं. That's actually, you have to jump into the water. The course is the water. तरीक जो है ये water है. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَأَلَّا وِاسْتَقَامُوا لَطَرِيقَةِ لَسْقَيْنَاهُمْ مَاءً غَدَقًا. That if they become steadfast on if they had come steadfast on the tariq, we would have actually given them water. मतलब यह है कि पानी में दाखिल होना. तो the course is like the water. When you practically do it, like the stomach sheet, etc., really you are in the water. Now you have to attain that quality. And how you attain, at that time a person is mentioned. Otherwise, there are books so thick written about tawakkul. But maybe after reading all of that, you don't understand what tawakkul is. nor it comes in you. It's just like reading a book on, for example, engineering. So you can read whole of the book, you don't become an engineer just by that. It is a quality which have no need to be trained. You have to practice, experiment, and do different things.
Like the things like the tazkiyah and the path of purification that you teach, this is obviously something that we have to do. But going on from what you said before, to understand that when you're doing your ibadah as a Muslim, you're trying to get it to the position that you're seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so you understand the uniqueness and the omnipotence and these kind of qualities and attributes which are only for the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
But what I want to ask you is, how do we come to a situation, or how do we work on the path of, because we are makhluk, we are creation, so we are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unlike us and beyond mind and space. So can our mind through this process come to a point of understanding, because obviously you can't understand what Allah is, you can only understand what Allah is not, because our mind is not made to understand the majesty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's my purpose of how to build that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
You build the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through, you're saying we can't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we can know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but not fully. We can have marifah of Allah, but it is a partial marifah. For example, we can't say we fully. At least if you know 99 names, qualities of Allah, this person have more marifah than others. So that's why we are asked to know Allah by qualities. Qualities you can know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is watching, Allah is hearing, Allah is meaning the more detail you go, and how you develop this connection as such, I think that's what the course is for. When you reach here, enlightenment, that's when you have achieved it. So the answer really practically to achieve it is there when you know. So jab ye enlightenment stage pe banda aayega, this fourth stage, that's when your inner self will be enlightened and you will have a special relationship with Allah Azza wa Jalla. You will have you won't have the complete marifah of Allah, but you will have more marifah than the person who not done the mujahidah, not traversed the path. Even Anbiya alayhi salam said, Ma arafnaka haqqa marifatik, that we have not recognized you, knowing you as you deserve to be known. But does that mean they don't know? No, Rasulullah said, I am the most knowledgeable about Allah than you. So there are degrees. One is to claim actually absolute knowledge about Allah. That is, no one can do. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned and He described Him briefly, who He is, what we need to know. For example, in Surah Al-Ikhlas, what Allah is not. You are saying we can't know what Allah, we can know. How? What Allah has told about Himself. He said, وَلَمْ يَكُلْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. There is no equal to me. لَمْ يَلِدْ. No one is part of me. وَلَمْ يُولَدْ. لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ. Nor I am part of someone, nor anything is part of me. Allah is free from this, free from this, free from this. So in very clear black and white terms in Quran and Hadith is mentioned what is Allah and what is Allah not. So because we leave this simple knowledge aside and talk about high level of marifah and this and so that's what Rasulullah prohibited. He said, don't ponder over the personality of Allah, the essence of Allah. That we can't know. But we can have your awareness. For example, I give you an example. मैं एक मिसाल देने लगा हूँ. Although we can't give example about Allah, this is just for our understanding, हमारे समझने के लिए. आप देखें, आपकी essence क्या है? What is your essence? आपकी essence रूह है. रूह. Your essence is रूह. आप बड़ी गौर से बात सुनने वाली. और this brother sitting here, भाई इसकी क्या हकीकत है? What will you say? It is his हकीकत is रूह. Do you understand what रूह is, the essence of the रूह is really? लेकिन अल्लाह की बात तो बड़ी, मैं आपको बड़ी आसान मिसाल देने लगूँ आपके अपने बारे में, आपको समझ आ जाएगी. इसी को कहते हैं कि मन आरफा नफ्सहू, जो अपने आप को पहचान गया, फ़क़द आरफा रब्बहू, वो अल्लाह को भी पहचान गया. The one who knows himself, he will know Allah more. Now I am coming towards to know yourself. मैं आपको पूछता हूँ, आपकी essence क्या है? रूह है. Your essence is the spirit. But do you know what is the spirit, the reality of spirit, the essence of spirit? रूह की हकीकत का आपको इल्म है? वो आप शायद कहें नहीं, क्योंकि अल्लाह ने कुरान जी यसअलूनका अनिर रूह के बारे में सवाल करते हैं. ये कुल रूह मिन अम्र, आप कह दे ये रब का अम्र है, अम्र में से है. वमा ऊतीतुम मिनल इल्मि इल्ला कलीला, यू नॉट बीन गिवन बट स्मॉल अमाउंट ऑफ नॉलेज, तुम्हें थोड़ा इल्म दिया गया है. अब आपका सवाल वो बहुत अच्छा है, उसको समझने के लिए मिसाल भी बहुत अच्छी मिसाल है. समझिए आप कि आप खुद बैठे हुए हैं, लेकिन आपको अपनी हकीकत का पता नहीं, रूह का पता नहीं, रूह क्या है. वो है भी आपके अंदर. यू आर समवन एंड यू डोंट नो हु यू आर, व्हाट यू आर. आपको पता है, यानी आप हैं, तो आप ही को नहीं पता मैं क्या हूं. अजीब बात है ना. बट हाउ डू यू रिकॉग्नाइज ईच अदर एंड योर सेल्फ? रूह, बिकॉज ऑफ द रूह देयर सर्टन सिफात इन यू. रूह की वजह से कुछ सिफतें आ गई हैं. मसलन इस ब्रदर में एक सिफत है, ये जिंदा है. रूह का असर है कि जिंदा है, तो उसकी वजह से आपको पता है ये बंदा जिंदा है. ही सीज, वो देखता है, आपको पता है वो देखता है. ही लुक्स, ही हैज आईज, ही लुक्स बिकॉज ऑफ द आईज. ही सीज बिकॉज ऑफ द रूह. ही स्पीक्स, वो बोलता है. दैट्स हाउ ह्यूमन बींग्स नो ईच अदर. इस तरह लोगों को एक दूसरे की मार्फत हासिल है. वो जानते इसके दो बाजू, ये देखता है, सुनता है, ये बोलता है. दैट्स हाउ यू नो ब्रदर. उसको यू डोंट नो हिज एसेंस, बट यू नो हिम. You say, I know my mother more than anyone else. Your mother might say, I know. You can say about your wife, maybe you know more than anyone else. आप कह सकते हैं आप अपनी बीवी की दूसरों से ज्यादा मार्फत रखते हैं, लेकिन बट यू नो हर एसेंस. क्या आपको उसकी हकीकत का इल्म है? रूह की हकीकत जो उसमें रूह है वो नहीं पता. तो क्या आप ये कह देगा, आई डोंट नो माई वाइफ एट ऑल, मुझे बीवी का पता ही नहीं है बिल्कुल, ये कहेंगे फिर भी गलती है. यू नो द नेम ऑफ द वाइफ, यू नो द नेम ऑफ योर मदर और योर ब्रदर, यू नो देयर क्वालिटीज, यू नो व्हेन दे बिकम एंग्री, हाउ दे बिकम प्लीज, दे कैन गिव थिंग्स, दे कैन टेक अवे थिंग्स. वो दे भी सकते हैं, ले भी सकते हैं चीजें. कुछ चीजें ले सकते हैं आपको, कुछ चीजें दे सकते हैं आपको. इन चीजों की वजह से आप सारे इंसानों को पहचानते हैं, वाइल्स यू डोंट नो देयर रियलिटी. अब समझें आप अल्लाह की मार्फत को भी. जब अपनी रूह का ही हमें नहीं पता, तो अल्लाह की जात का कैसे पता होगा? हकीकत जानेगा बंदा, तो उसका नहीं पता, फिर कैसे पता है हमें अल्लाह का? वट मारिफत थ्रू द सिफात. जिस तरह हम सुनते देखते हैं, वी नो ईच अदर बाय सिफात. सिमिलरली अल्लाह सेड, आई ऑल्सो लिसन, आई लिसन, आई एम ऑल्सो हियरिंग, आई एम ऑल सीइंग, ऑल हियरिंग, आई एम omnipotent, I am Razzaq. So through this actually we have the marifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So imagine there is the Zaat of Allah, which is the essence. The veil of the Zaat are the Sifat of Allah. The Zaat is hidden in the Sifat, the qualities of Allah. The Sifat are hidden in the Af'al of Allah, in the actions of Allah. So there is you can say it in many ways, but there is ज़ात of Allah. जिस तरह आपकी रूह है, वो फिर रूह का पर्दा क्या है? रूह का पर्दा क्या है? Your qualities, you hear, you see, these are like the veil of the रूह. ये body, यही रूह का पर्दा है. So Allah ज़ात, then the सिफात is the veil of the Allah ज़ात. फिर आपका जिस्म है, then you do actions. अमाल आप करते हैं, अमाल आप करते हैं. You practice different deeds. You do things, you sit, you actually move things away. These are called actions. So the afal, similarly actions of Allah, He gives life, He gives death, He gives rizq, He gives izzat, He dishonors, He humbles whoever He wills. So these are the actions of Allah. Actions of Allah are the veil of the sifat. From the sifat, actions come. And now the actions, what is the veil of the actions of Allah is the makhluk, creation. In that actions of Allah are hidden. मखलूक में अल्लाह के अफ़ाल छुपे हुए हैं. मखलूक पर्दा है अल्लाह के तख्लीक का, अल्लाह के अफ़ाल का. इसलिए हुक्म है कि मखलूक में गौर करो. बिकॉज व्हेन यू विल पेनेट्रेट, जब आप मखलूक में ज़्यादा गौर करेंगे आपको अल्लाह के फ़ाल नज़र आएंगे, अल्लाह की कुदरतें नज़र आएंगी. और जब अल्लाह की कुदरतें नज़र आएंगी तो अल्लाह की सिफ़ात नज़र, आपको पता होगा कि भाई ये हस्ती रिज्क देने वाली है, ये जिंदा है, ये सुनने वाली ज़ात है, जानने वाली ज़ात है, और ये मेरा अल्लाह है. लेकिन मैं हकीकत नहीं जानता. So in other words, if you ponder over yourself, you recognize Allah. There's signs in you. Allah अपने कुरान में सनुरीहिम आयातिना फिल आफाकी व फी अनफुसिहिम. We will show them the signs in the creation, afaq, in the entire universe. We'll show our signs, and fi anfusihim, and in their selves. सनुरीहिम आयत फिल आफाक फी अनफुसिहिम. हम आप लोगों को, काफरों को, सबको कायनात में भी अपनी निशानियां दिखाएंगे और अपने अंदर भी, उनके अपने अंदर भी निशानियां हैं कि जिससे वो मुझे पहचान सकते हैं. वो यही है जो मैंने आपको बयान की समाप्ति. This question was a little bit difficult. ये बड़ा हाई लेवल का क्वेश्चन है और आंसर इज, आई ट्राई टू पुट इट इजी एज मच एज आई कैन. अदरवाइज उलमा इवन डोंट डिस्कस दिस, वो डिस्कस भी नहीं करते कि भाई ये इट इज़ वेरी सेंसिटिव मैटर. लेकिन आपको सानी की समझा दिया भाई ये अल्लाह की मार्फत रख भी सकते हैं आप और नहीं भी है. किसकी मार्फत नहीं? लाइक यू डोंट नो योर स्पिरिट, यू नो अबाउट योर क्वालिटीज. अल्लाह की ज़ात का नहीं आपको मार्फत, लेकिन अल्लाह उसकी सिफात का आपको पता हो चल सकता है. Then you at least know Allah is seeing, but how He sees you don't know. ये भी फिर भी नहीं पता, कैफियत नहीं पता होता. और कुछ anything else?
याद रखते हैं तो इस तरह से थोड़ा सा अल्लाह सुब्हानहू तआला के बारे में कि अल्लाह के सामने होते तो किस तरह से होते हैं. इस तरह आका अलैहिस्सलाम के सामने इंशाल्लाह एक दिन जब होंगे तो वो किस तरह से क्या कैफियत होगी. तो अल्लाह ताला की ज़ात ये सबसे बड़ी ज़ात है. फिर उनके सामने किस अदब के साथ खड़े होते या किस अदब के साथ होते. दूसरा ख्वाजा मोइनुद्दीन चिश्ती रहमतुल्लाह अलैह के बारे में रवायत है कि वो अल्लाह ताला के 70,000 पर्दे तक वो देखे तो एक ही पर्दा बाकी था जो अल्लाह ताला की ज़ात का. उसके बारे में वो क्या है, ये रिवायत सही है?
The brother Maulana Mustafa Sahab has just given some nasiha, mashallah, that we should practice more adab in our lives, as though that, because we know Allah is surely watching us, He is hearing us, seeing us, and also Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well, because our amals are presented to Him. हमारे अमाल हजूर इस्लाम तक पेश किए जाते हैं, हजूर इस्लाम भी देख रहे हैं. तो इसलिए अमल इस तरह करे गोया नबी इस्लाम भी देख, क्योंकि अमाल आर प्रेजेंटेड टू हिम, अमाल उन पर पेश करते हैं. तो ये तो नहीं आज कर लिया तो वो नहीं अमल पेश होगा, नहीं. वो तो अभी सोच लो कि ये पेश होने वाला है उधर. एंड वी शुड प्रैक्टिस अदब इन द मजालिस ऑफ नॉलेज. अल्लाह की बात हो रही है तो इस तरह सुने कि जिस तरह अल्लाह की मजलिस में बैठे, अल्लाह की सोहबत, इन द प्रेजेंस ऑफ अल्लाह. हजूर इस्लाम की बात हो रही है तो इस तरह हदीस सुने गोया हजूर इस्लाम की मजलिस में. औलिया अल्लाह की मशाइख की बात हो रही है, एज दो यू आर सिटिंग, देन यू अचीव. अदब जितना जितना ऊपर आता जाए, एज द अदब इज रेज्ड, योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग, फहम एंड हिकमत इज रेज्ड एज वेल. ये याद रखें. ये आपकी मर्जी, आप कर ले. है बड़ा ईजी. You have to sit, speak, or actually not look around, or whatever adab. जितना अदब बढ़ा लेंगे उतनी आपको समझ ज़्यादा आती जाएगी. समझ, you will understand more. Now, how does this happen? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows better. That's how it happens. जो इल्म का अदब करेगा, इल्म की मजलिस का, उसका इल्म उतना ही ज़्यादा होगा. All scholars who were high level scholars, they respected actually knowledge. Imam Abdullah bin Mubarak, such a scholar, muhaddis from Imam Bukhari narrated, his student of Imam Abdullah bin Mubarak. Imam Bukhari के भी उस्ताद हैं. वो हदीस का दर्स दे रहे थे और another scholar, यानी दे रहे थे दर्स इल्म का, he was doing, but he would stand frequently. खड़े हो जाते थोड़ी देर के लिए. फिर बैठ जाते, फिर खड़े हो जाते, फिर बैठ जाते। तो पीपल सेड, सैयदना अब्दुल्लाह में, भाई आप क्यों खड़े हो रहे हैं बार बार? उन्होंने फरमाया असल में मेरे उस्ताद हैं, मैंने उनसे पढ़ा है, तो उनका बच्चा है, तो वो बच्चे खेल रहे हैं इधर उधर, तो वो खेलते खेलते कभी इधर आ जाते हैं। बिकॉज द चिल्ड्रन आर प्लेइंग, दे आर रनिंग, प्लेइंग अराउंड, दे जस्ट कम टू दिस क्लोजर। तो मैं अपने उस्ताद के अदब में खड़ा हो रहा हूँ, उनका इतना। एंड व्हेन दे यूज्ड टू रीड बुक्स, आप देखें इन मैनी ऑफ द बुक्स देयर इज हाशिया रिटन। हाशिया कहते हैं थिंग्स ऑन द राइट, थिंग्स बॉटम, थिंग्स ऑन द टॉप एज वेल, मीनिंग कमेंट्स, लिटिल कमेंट्री ऑन द राइट हियर। दाईं तरफ भी लिखी होती है कई किताबों में, दाईं तरफ, लाइक दिस, लाइक दिस। Scholar, one of the scholars passed in Indian subcontinent from Sadat. His name was Allama Anwar Shah. It said about him that when he used to read the book, as a kitab thi, and he wanted to know what's written on the right side or on the bottom, he would not turn the book. He himself will go on that side. और जब इस तरफ पढ़ना होता तो उस तरफ जाके किताब के इर्द गिर्द फिरते, किताब को ना फेरते। तो ये इल्म होता, उन लोगों के पास फिर अल्लाह ने इल्म दिया। Then Allah gives them the light, more light comes. हमारे यहाँ जिस तरह आपने सिटिंग रूम में बैठे हैं, टेके लगा के, टांगे फैला के अपना, और तकिया लगा के लेट के, और ये जी बुखारी शरीफ पढ़ने हो रही, ये जी टीवी पे लगते, तो वो इल्म भी इसी तरह का आएगा। फिर knowledge is going to come like that as well. वो नूर नहीं आएगा, the words तो वो हैं। ये जितना अदब बना, इसलिए एक बुजुर्ग को किसी ने कहा जिन्होंने 1000 किताबें लिखी, 1000 books he written, 1000 books. Someone said to him that you must have read many hundreds and thousands books. आपने 1000 किताब लिखी है तो आपने तो बड़ी कुतब बीनी की होगी। कुतब बीनी का मतलब है, कुतब मीन्स books, बीनी मीन्स reading, looking at the books. You must have done lot of book reading, kutab bini, because we read in 1000 books. Some are so volume, 20 volumes, 20 जिल्दे एक किताब की। आपने फरमाया मैंने कुछ ज्यादा कुतब बीनी नहीं की, कुतब बीनी नहीं की। I have not been looking at many books. What I have been doing is kutab bini. Kutab means, the kutab with the qaf means actually the Awliyah or the ulama, kutabs. He said, yes, I've not read or seen many books, but I've seen many kutabs, meaning the many scholars. It's because of them I know knowledge, not because of reading books. फरमाया मैंने कुतब बीनी नहीं की, कुतब नहीं ज्यादा देखी, कुतब देखे हैं, उनका मैं अदब करता रहूंगा। I've been focusing on those people. It's because of the blessings that they actually, the knowledge which I have, not because of the books. आज तो बुक लिखना आसान है, इंटरनेट है, सारे रेफरेंस है, you can make 10 books if you want in 10 days. लेकिन what is the real book? बुक ये वो होती है कि जो आप अपने इल्म से लिख रहे हैं, your understanding, you start the book. ये आप लिख के इमाम बुखारी ने ये फरमाया, फलां ने ये कहा, फलां ने ये कहा, you are mentioning knowledge of others. Where is your knowledge? आपका इल्म कहाँ गया? अजी मुझे सोचना पड़ेगा, मेरा आपके पास तो है ही नहीं, फिर आप दूसरों का लिख रहे हैं। Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ghazali, all these people, rarely they mention other books. They do mention as a reference sometimes, but it is they had knowledge, they wrote it. हमारा जी ये बहुत बड़ा आलिम है, ये बहुत स्कॉलरली पर्सन है, क्या PhD दी की हुई है, उसमें सारी दूसरी बुकों से लेके किताबें भर दी। ये कौन सी खूबी है? Child can do that as well. तो यह बात तो ये है कि आप, यानी आपके अंदर अंडरस्टैंडिंग आए पहले, द नॉलेज कम टू यू, देन यू टेक आउट दैट लाइट इन द बुक। फिर वो जो नूर है वो किताब पे लेके आए। दूसरी की किताबों से स्याही लेके, स्याही लिख दी, स्याही लेके वर्के स्याह कर दिया, गेटिंग, कलेक्टिंग इंक फ्रॉम अदर्स एंड पुटिंग इट इन योर पेपर। एंड नॉलेज इज एक्चुअली attaining the light from Allah and then transferring that light on the book. ये होता है। और कुछ? Anyone else?
Assalamualaikum. You say about the Khawarij and analogy to the Salafis. Is that a direct analogy? And if so, if a Salafi is firm on his Aqidah, will he be in Jannah, and will there be any exceptions?
Sorry, say again. If Salafis, what do they have?
If he was to die on his Aqidah, firm on his Aqidah, would he be definitely in Jahannam? Will there be any exceptions? And can you draw the direct analogy with the Khawarij?
If they do actually, for example, believe in Aqidah, like for example, some of them, there is variance in them as well. We believe in Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah and Aqidah Tahawiyah. If they die on that Aqidah, they are from Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, although they can call themselves Salafis, whatever they call. So it will be what they believe and what they say, what they believe. Name, sometimes people use the name, they don't know what it means. How I do analogy between them and actually Khawarij, because if the Khawarij were the first people who said we are not going to follow the understanding of the Sahaba. And these people say some of them they say I myself am mujtahid, I derive masail from Quran and Hadith, I'm not following Imam Abu Hanifa, I'm not following Imam Malik, I also know knowledge. So Rasulullah transferred two things to Sahaba: the text of Quran and Hadith, the understanding of Quran and Hadith. The Sahaba transferred these two things to the A'imma: the text of Quran and Hadith, the understanding of Quran and Hadith. And these people, Khawarij, and some of the people who call themselves here behaving like Khawarij, they have the text and they put their own understanding to it. They don't take the understanding which the Imams and A'imma actually they preserve. So they might come up with just a new understanding and making a mixture here and there. I think this, and that is. But not majority of them. MashaAllah, majority of them, they believe in the Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, like Aqidah Tahawiyah or things, and they are there. But there are variants in them, there are differences in them as well. They all are Imams. वो सारे इमाम हैं in their own right. वो सारे इमाम मुजतहिद ऐसे इमाम कि भाई हदीस नहीं आती लेकिन इमाम है, वहाँ अरबी नहीं आती लेकिन इमाम है. Just reading translation of Bukhari and objecting on those people who actually have spent 50 years teaching Bukhari. So they have partial knowledge, little knowledge. That's why it says it is dangerous. Tomorrow, if you want, I can mention, for example, what qualities should be in the person to derive masail from Quran and Hadith. Mujtahid mein kya sifat honi chahiye? Ya a person who wants to directly derive things from Quran and Hadith, what quality, what type of person that should be? Ulama have laid down their qualities and their requirements, and these people don't. I say that most of them, many of them, they can't read Arabic. And they don't know the books of Hadith, they don't know the Usul of Fiqh. Only on the internet, their Shaykh is Shaykh Google. वो उनका Shaykh है, not Imam Bukhari or Imam Muslim. उनका Shaykh है Shaykh Google. Google में जाके मारा, वो जो आंसर मिल गया वो दूसरों को दे दिया. So isn't it better to rely on the mind of Abu Hanifa, who is Tabi, than to rely on the internet mind? Whoever has fed anything on the internet, he can come nowhere near the understanding of Imam Shafi'i or Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Imam Abu Hanifa. No computer can match. इनकी ज़िंदगी देखिए, Imam Shafi'i died at about 54 years old. देखें दर्जा उनका क्या, the status of it. 54 साल में तो वफात हो गई आपकी. उम्र ही क्या होती है 54 साल, 54 years of age. And the understanding they had, and a person cannot imagine, volumes and volumes of books from their own understanding of Quran and Hadith they've seen. Similarly, Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik and other things. So the essence thing is that you have the text of Hadith, do you have the understanding, the same understanding which Rasulullah and Sahaba had? If you have, then they taught it to the Imams, not me and you. And these people, they follow Imams as well. ये सल्फी भी इमामों को फॉलो करते हैं. They follow the Imams of their own mosques sometimes. जो आज क्योंकि मस्जिद के इमाम है ना, वो उसको इमाम अबू हनीफा को नहीं, हाँ उन्हें उनके पीछे नहीं चलना, जो ताबई हैं। इमाम शाफी सल्फ सालेहीन तो ये हैं। बट ब्रदर यू नो, आई विल टेक यू टू शेख अलबानी, शेख फलां, वो these people are of 14th centuries. How are they matched to actually the Aimma? Good and well if they've served deen, but how astray you are that you leave the people of previous and you say you are Salafi, meaning I follow the Salaf and you follow the Khalaf, the people who are existing now. They even go against their, so that's why I say they should little bit change the name and make it Selfie, meaning they follow their self. Salaf is, we are the Salaf, followers of Salaf. Imam Abu Hanifa is Salaf, Shaykh Albani is not Salaf. Imam Ibn Taymiyyah is not Salaf. He is Mutawassiteen, Mutaakhirin, people who came 7 centuries or after. Who is the Salaf? Imam Shafi'i, people of the first 3 centuries. In the first 3 centuries, 4 Imams lived in the first 3 centuries. So we are the actual Salafi, meaning if you mean following the Salaf. We follow the Salaf. They follow either actually the Khalaf, people living at their times, or their self. या वो खुद अपने आप को फॉलो करते हैं। मैं ये कहता हूँ शेख दिस एंड शेख दिस, आई से दिस एंड आई से दिस। तो ये है बात उनकी।
Sorry, just another clarification. So, if somebody follows Shaykh Albani and Ibn Taymiyyah, I think it's the other one you mentioned, and they're firm on this, is that distorted scholars? Are they? Is there some goodness in them, or are they totally going astray? Because one of the things that they say to me is that people on Hanafi fiqh don't follow Hanafi Aqidah. The Aqidah is Ashuri Maturidi, but it's not Hanafi Aqidah. Hanafi Aqidah is more similar to Deobandi or the Salafis. That's what they say. So, in response to that.
Hanafi Aqidah, people who are followers of Ashari, they follow Hanafi Aqidah. This is foolishness. This is ignorance to say they follow Ashari, because Imam Abu Hanifa wrote Fiqhul Akbar, and the commentary on it wrote, Imam Tahawi wrote a commentary on it, and Imam Ashari, he wrote a commentary on Imam. Further, he elaborated what Imam Abu Hanifa said. There is a link. We have a continuous chain, like Hadith. They have a continuous change to Rasulullah sallallahu. Similarly, about Aqidah, we have a continuous change as well. Fiqh ke bhi continuous, Tasawwuf ka bhi continuous change. I have a continuous change, for example, from fiqh point of view through to Imam Abu Hanifa, let's cite Hadith. Or the other sciences actually. So Aqidah as well, going back to Imam Abu Hanifa, chain by chain, person by person, meaning understanding and there. Now you are saying about the scholars of Shaykh Albani, and these people are muhaddiseen. For example, Imam Bukhari, we don't follow, we follow Aimma of fiqh. If you want to know Hadith is Sahih or Zaif, you can go to Shaykh Albani. He is a muhaddis, not a faqih. Faqih mujtahid. Muhaddis has the Hadith, but he necessarily doesn't have the ability to draw masail from it. So they give comments, but not as mujtahid. So they people are muhaddiseen, good, and for them may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually forgive and raise their state. Similarly, Imam Ibn Taymiyyah as well. He was a scholar who reached a very high level of knowledge, but he never claimed to be a faqih mujtahid, that people should follow me. Because he himself was followers of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. How could he say? So people who said we follow Imam Ibn Taymiyyah today, and Imam Ibn Taymiyyah is following Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Take lesson from Imam Ibn Taymiyyah. या आप कहते हैं जी मैं तो इमाम इब्न तैमिया के पीछे चल रहा हूँ, तो इमाम इब्न तैमिया इमाम अहमद के फॉलोअर हैं, उन्हीं से सबक हासिल कर लो. इमाम बुखारी इमाम अहमद बिन हंबल के स्टूडेंट हैं. These muhaddiseen, they also follow the fuqaha, either Imam Shafi'i or Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. ये इनके फॉलोअर हैं. Imam Nawawi has written a book of Riyadus Salihin. Brother Imam Nawawi, great muhaddis, Riyadus Salihin, mashallah. But he is a Shafi'i as well. He follows Imam Shafi'i. तो इनको भी तो देखें ना, ये किसको फॉलो करते रहे. इमाम बुखारी ने किसको फॉलो किया, इमाम नववी ने किसको फॉलो किया, इमाम इब्न रजब हम्बली ने किसको फॉलो किया. They were people. But this is a different topic. ये हमारा मौजू नहीं है. ये आप, मैंने जैसे पहले भी अर्ज किया था, go and ask ulama, fuqaha, learn this knowledge from them. I don't have this knowledge as such. Only the one I need, I have to stay on the right path. But actually learn from the path to Allah from me. ये तो आप किसी 10 साल मदरसे में जाके पढ़े, आपको समझ आ जाएगी. You will understand what these differences are and how people actually become Salafis and how the variance in Aqidah. बहुत मेहनत करना पड़ती है, 10-12 साल, 10-12 years at least. लेकिन ये बात लर्न करने के लिए, because it is necessary फर्ज knowledge, so that you can achieve salvation. Yes, brother Riyaz. ठीक है, आप कर ले पहले brother नवार के. Walaikum Assalam.
Hazrat, just to clarify a little bit more on the Ihsan, Hazrat. When a murid sits next to his Shaykh, Hazrat, he experiences a few things. One is that love, fear, and a great deal of feelings as well. This also is obtained through a lot of time and experiences through his good qualities, attributive qualities. So we also know that that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is known through his attributive qualities. And so what I'm trying to ask is the love, the feelings that is obtained from a sheikh to a disciple is a lot of feelings, but we cannot see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as such, but we know some of the attributive qualities. So what would you say, Hazrat, I mean, in terms of the sheikh and the murid and seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as mentioned, to adopt the ihsan in our worships?
Whatever in the Shaykh, even whatever you have actually is in the spirituality of the Shaykh which you feel, and is as not his body. If other people have the same bodies as well, other people have the same, maybe they have a beard, they have all these things, but it is again comes back to the qualities, what the qualities the person have. So the qualities regarding Allah, qualities regarding Shaykh, same thing really. You don't actually fear the Shaykh because he has big body. Kai awliya Allah jo bade kamzor hai, but people have awe and respect because of their taqwa or their knowledge, their wisdom, their level of ihsan. Similarly, people used to say about Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala, he lived as a normal person, he sat in people, they say with us as a normal, he wouldn't actually say that I am big or I am this, but they say that in spite of this we had awe and respect that we hesitate to speak in front of him. वो तो आम हमारे में बैठते कहते भी सवाल, लेकिन फिर भी उनका रोब और दबदबा था कि भाई हैबत थी कि बंदे बोलने की जरूरत इतनी नहीं होती थी. So your question relating, you can see the Shaykh, you cannot see Allah. I'm saying seeing the Shaykh has nothing to do with it. It is the qualities which are. While the Shaykh is human being, another person is human being. Why you have respect, honor, things in relation to him? Because of his qualities, his knowledge, his wisdom, his taqwa, his ikhlaq. And these are the mention of the qualities of Allah, the sifat of Allah, the akhlaq of Allah, the qualities of Allah. For that actually a person loves, not for the physical being. Yes.
Then how come people in the worships they get obstructed with other thoughts?
Yes, they get obstructed through other thought because intentionally they forget Allah. Because when Rasulullah said, you should stay in this thought that Allah is watching me, and as though I am looking at Allah, you should react like that. And intentionally, if they just go here and there, that is their mistake, they should bring themselves back to it. If shaitan is putting any waswasa, or nafs is putting any thought, they get obstructed, it is intentional. If the obstruction is unintentional, the ibadat or the worship is not affected by it at all. He says that it's perfect worship still. It's perfect worship still. So obstruction इसीलिए होती है कि because shaitan has willpower as well. He can interfere. The nafs can kick in. Nafs has interference. The world has interference. So when they give interference, you try to fight that interference by diverting again to Allah. If you do it, alhamdulillah, you achieved. If you doing it but are not achieving it, still your worship is actually of high level. You still have the ihsan. Because it is an unintentional thing, which actually a person's worship is not affected. It's like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the person in the Quran, I mentioned to the verse the other day as well, مَنْ يَخْرُجْ مِنْ بَيْتِهِ مُهَاجِرًا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. Whoever have left his house, migrating towards Allah and His Messenger, and then he dies in the way. What is greater obstruction than death? मौत से, शैतान से भी ज़्यादा मौत obstruction है. It stops everything. वसवसा छोटी obstruction है. वसवसा is small obstruction. ख्याल or distraction of the world is small obstruction. Allah has mentioned greatest obstruction comes summa yudrikhul maut. Summa yudrikhul maut. That this person, death becomes an obstruction. But because it's not within the choice of the servant that the death comes or not, bande ke ikhtiyar mein nahi hai. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَقَدْ وَقَعَ أَجْرُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ. The reward is the responsibility of Allah to give this to this person. Allah said, the reward is on me, the ajr is on me. I will raise him as though he has reached his destination. Because it's an unintentional thing, which the death has come. So if you, like you are giving an example, you will able to know this when you really travel the path to Allah and then reach here. But you are asking about the fourth stage, but go there first and then ask the question. Then I can answer you in a better way, that you feel the awe of Allah, or you actually have the presence of Allah. एक बंदे ने अपने में ड्राइविंग सीखी नहीं, वो घर में बैठ के एक लेसन लिया, ओए मुझे तो बड़ा डर लग गया, इस वेरी फ्यू गाड़ियाँ आ रही हैं इधर उधर, मैं नहीं ड्राइविंग सीख सकता. फिर वो कहता है कि गाड़ियाँ कैसे, हाउ आर दीज पीपल ड्राइविंग, दे डोंट फियर एनीथिंग. वो ये है कि दैट यू गो थ्रू ट्रेनिंग, यू विल ऑल्सो हैव कंट्रोल. जो नई गाड़ी सीखे हुए सारी जिंदगी बैठे रहें, दे विल सी अदर्स ड्राइविंग विदाउट फियर and smoothly, and they themselves will not. They will start trembling as soon as they sit in the car. वो डरते रहेंगे. इसी तरह, like you see many awliya Allah who reached Allah, many human beings who reached Allah, वो successfully drive कर रहे हैं in the world. Many people are successfully walking and driving in meaning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the world. Why me and you saying, how can they do it? There are obstructions, accidents can happen, this can happen, the tire can be punctured, the fuel can run out. All these things are there, but in spite of that they are driving. So the solution is, उसका इलाज ये है कि पहले बंदा यहाँ तक पहुँचे. At least go towards the where actually you are said that you will get the ihsan, the beginning of ihsan and things, and then inshallah a person is in a better position rather. But here people, they are asking who are here, for example, or there, they can ask questions but they won't understand really very well. They can only be explained here. MashaAllah, when they are. तो ये है, क्योंकि जो बंदे, it is absolute knowledge that the Sahaba had reached, Awliyah has reached, many pious people today are reaching, alhamdulillah. This shows that there is actually surety a person can reach actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be in his awe and live his life according to as Rasulullah said. Because the Islam doesn't command anything except a person can do it. Islam doesn't give a command if you cannot follow it. इस्लाम में जितने भी हुक्म है वो बंदे कर सकते हैं तब अल्लाह ने हुक्म दिया. If Allah says stop ghiba, this means you can stop. If Prophet Islam is saying achieve ihsan, then it means you can achieve. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَمَن يُسْلِمْ وَجْهَهُ لِلَّهِ, whoever will submit completely his whole essence to Allah, فَهُوَ مُحْسِنٌ, he will be the person who achieved ihsan. But we don't submit our eyes, our hands of shaitan. एक आँख कोई औरत ले गई है, दूसरी गेज जो है वो कोई गाड़ी ले गई है, सोचे कहीं है, हाथ कहीं है, पेट जो है वो जहन्नम में फिर रहा है, पाँव पब्बू में फिर रहे हैं, तो अल्लाह का एहसान कैसे मिलेगा? स्टेट ऑफ एहसान. हाउ यू कैन अचीव इट? यस, देयर इज द वे. हम इसके थ्रू भी थोड़ा ब्रीफली जाएंगे. आई शो यू हाउ एवरी पार्ट actually gives you a part of ihsan, a portion of ihsan. This is like a jigsaw. Imagine that this picture changes into a jigsaw puzzle. So you have the picture there, you put it part by part, and then the picture will become complete. अब एक है जिक्सो मिक्सचर बनाई हुई है, वो डब्बे में पता ही नहीं क्या है, किस तरह वो ने. अब कहते हैं वो कैसे तस्वीर बन सकती है, ये उन्होंने कैसे बना ली? Well, they've tried part by part. You say no, either I want picture at once or I'm not. मेरे जिक्सो के 500 पीसेस हैं, मैं एक ही दफा तस्वीर बनानी है, नहीं तो मुश्किल है. थोड़ा बहुत कोशिश की, you try little bit, it doesn't work, you become hopeless and leave it. आज ये हो रहा है, बंदे कहते हैं हमने बराह रास्त ही उधर पहुंचना है, directly we want to reach it without going to the process. Anbiya alayhim Islam had to go through process. Sahaba rizwanullah ajma'in, they went through things, and then certain things came to them. Yes, brothers.
Can I just remind the brothers, please do not shout out your questions until you've been given permission to actually ask that question. Even if you have a follow-up question, please wait until you're being given permission.
हमारे भी स्पीकर का इंतजार किया करो, वैसे ना बोलिए.
Shaykh, I just wanted to ask you, related to like Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu, he went to Jerusalem with a patched cloth, and nobody at that time had more ihsan than him. And then now we're living in a time where ihsan, like you have to have nice clothes, or in Islamic circles, nice clothes, nice perfumes, and architecture, buildings, and things like this. And like, for example, if you go to a Muslim bookshop, it might be dusty, this Islamic Sufi bookshops. And then if you go to a non-Muslim bookshop, very nicely tidied. And just I wanted your comments. I don't know what the question is, but just wanted to relate it to ihsan.
Okay. Ihsan is really, as I said, the inner connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to do with the outward thing. And then it has effects on the outward thing. Outwardly it has effect on the person. So safai, the cleanliness, beauty, order, is not conflict with ihsan at all. This is one's personal relationship. It depends what sifat of Allah actually a person thinks of. Mostly he will have that effect. If he thinks about the sifat of mutakabbir, he will be the most humble person. If he has this thinking about sifat of beauty of Allah, like Allah is Jameel, he will dress nicely. There's nothing wrong with dressing nicely. If you can afford it, beauty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes this. Inna Allah Jameel, yuhibbul Jamal. Allah is beauty and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes beauty. So there's no harm in there. But these and the Sahaba and Awliyah, they have different states of relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the common thing is that the kafiyat of ihsan, then there are different colors like flowers. Like Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabbagh rahmahullah said that we went into a garden and there were different kinds of flowers with different kinds of fragrance. He said if someone wants to see Sahaba or Awliya Allah, understand them, he can look at these flowers. They are different smells, but they are nice. They're beautiful. आपने फरमाया कि Awliya Allah को, Sahaba की किस्मों को देखना चाहते हैं तो इन फूलों को देखो. मुख्तलिफ शक्लें, मुख्तलिफ रंग, मुख्तलिफ खुशबू लेकिन एक चीज कॉमन है, वन थिंग कॉमन इन देम इज द ब्यूटी। उनके जो हुस्न है वो सब में है सब में एहसान, लेकिन किसी का सब्ज रंग है, किसी का सुर्ख रंग है, किसी के फूल गुलाब की है, चमेली की चमेली की है। दीज आर the fairs of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which was divided into Sahaba and Awliya. Different people become heirs of different lights from Prophet ﷺ. Even the other Anbiya benefited from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam had zuhud, but that was from that light was from the ocean of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam's tawakkul was from actually the light of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he was the essence of all these qualities. And it went into the Anbiya and Awliya and Sahaba. So that's why there's a less than more 124,000 prophets. Every one of them had a part of fairs of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam को खूबसूरती का हिस्सा मिला, हजूर अलैहि सलाम की खूबसूरती। हजरत दाऊद अलैहि सलाम को कलाम का हिस्सा मिला, स्वीटनेस। ईसा अलैहि सलाम को पाकी मिली, zuhud, but they are all from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. हुजूर अलैहि सलाम सारे अंदर फैज हो, सारी खूबियां उनके अंदर हैं। Similarly, in this ummah, there are more or less 124,000 companions. इसी तरह इस उम्मत में अल्लाह ने देखे 1,24,000 सहाबा, वो भी इसी तरह हजूर अलैहि सलाम के जिस तरह अंबिया मुस्तफीज हुए मुख्तलिफ सिफतें, इतनी ही सिफात सहाबा में भी आई उस तरह एक एक करके। सहाबा में भी बड़े खूबसूरत थे। हजरत दहिया कल्बी रदी अल्लाह अन, वो इतने खूबसूरत थे दैट जिब्रील वुड हैव कम इन हिज फॉर्म। आप पर्दा रखते थे चेहरे पर। हजरत दहिया कल्बी, द कंपेनियन ऑफ द रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, यूज्ड टू कीप अ वेल ऑन हिज फेस। क्यों? कि औरतें उनको देख के वो उनके इश्क में गिरफ्तार हो जाती हैं। अगर कोई औरत हामिला हो, इफ एनी वुमन प्रेग्नेंट, शी विड लूज हर प्रेगनेंसी, शी मिसकैरेज हो जाती थी उनको देख के। हामिला औरतें देख के हमल गिर जाता उनका, उनके हुस्न की वजह से। इसलिए आप पर्दा रखते थे। वजह उसकी ये है कि यही वजह है कि हजरत जिब्रील अलैहिस्सलाम व्हेन ही केम, he could come in any form, get another beautiful form. लेकिन हजरत दहिया कल्बी को हुजूर अलैहिस्सलाम की उम्मत में ऐसा हुस्न अल्लाह ने दिया कि जिब्रील को भी वही पसंद आया। मलाइका में उनको नजर नहीं आया उस तरह का हुस्न जिस तरह हजरत दहिया कल्बी रज़ी अल्लाह ताला अन्हु है। अब लीडर भी थे और हुस्न जमाल में इंतहा पर थे। ये हुजूर अलैहिस्सलाम का फैज़ उनमें। किसी के पास इल्म आया, किसी के बाद प्रॉफेट अलैहिस्सलाम से अक़दाहुम अली, इल्म, डिसीजन मेकिंग पावर in Ali. Arhamu bi ummati Abu Bakr. The quality of Rasul of mercy was dominant in Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq. Wa shadduhum fi amrillahi Umar. And the quality of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that being steadfast on the command of Allah and for the deen of Allah being harsh, was actually in Hazrat Umar. وشدهم على الكفار أرحم بأمتي أبو بكر وشدهم على عمر. And كامل الحياة, haya, modesty, that's dominant quality which Hazrat Usman got from Rasulullah. हया आपने हुजूर अलैहिस्सलाम ने फरमाया कि फरिश्ते भी हया करते हैं उस्मान से। फरिश्ते इतने पाक जिन्होंने अपनी शर्मगाह नहीं देखी जिंदगी भर, इतने पाक, गुस्ल नहीं नंगे किया कभी, हाथ नहीं लगाया दायां कहीं अपने पर्दे वाले हिस्से को, इतना पाक वो है। हया जो उनको उनमें आया, ब्रेवरी हजूर अलैहि शजाअत वो हजरत अली में आए। So they all had many qualities, but one was specific dominance in them. एक हिस्सा जो है वो बहुत आला होता था उनमें। जिस तरह 1,24,000 कमो बेश अंबिया ने फैज पाया, इसी तरह इस उम्मत के सहाबा ने। Any other question?
Assalamu alaikum. I've been described sometimes as like Salafi or Ahli Hadith, but I didn't even know what that was until you've described, so thanks for that.
Right.
Also, like, I just wanted to ask, I just wanted to clarify that before I ask my question, otherwise, you know, I might give the wrong impression, but what does, the book, the Sahih al-Bukhari, what does Sahih mean? And
Sahih means, Sahih, this is a terminology of Hadith. This doesn't mean actually like Sahih, literally we mean Sahih. It means that, for example, the person, the Hadith which have narrated has a continuous chain. All the narrators, they had a very super strong memory. They had highest level of taqwa, a very highest level of taqwa and piety. Never spoke a lie in their life, for example. And their character was matchless. No sin ever actually they major committed. So these type of qualities, they come actually, then there is a terminology which the muhaddithin give, Sahih. Then there are about 60 different qualities of hadith. Then Sahih li zatihi, Sahih li ghairihi, then Hasan. Then there's some hadith, for example, so hundreds and hundreds, thousand scholars narrate in all their generations. They are called mutawatir. But if it is narrated by, for example, so many, not so many, but some actually, it will be called mashhur hadith, mashhur hadith. If, for example, there is a narrator, some narrators missing, two narrators missing, then it will be called, for example, munqati. Two narrators are missing. And so this is the terminologies of hadith. So Imam Bukhari said, I know 600,000 hadith. Imam Bukhari ने फरमाया मैं 6 लाख हदीस से जानता हूँ और उसमें से बहुत सारी, there are others as well which are according to my, but I have chosen a criteria for myself, and from the about 100,000 hadiths of Sahih which I know, I'm going to write 6,000-7,000 just as a reward and as passing a knowledge of Allah. It is not all the hadiths. So that's why some Imam Muslim collected, some Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal collected, so all this actually. So these are the category of hadith Sahih. For example, there is these Imams, they also write books on mawdu'at, for example. A book, Imam Bukhari, Imam Ibn al-Jawzi has written called book of hadith called mawdu'at. Mawdu'at means fabricated hadith narrated, attributed to Rasulullah. So different scholars, they make a criteria for themselves that which type of hadith I'm going to collect, and then they just focus on that. They don't collect any other. But they don't say that only a hadith Sahih are which I have. They say a part which we have narrated. For example, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal is the teacher of Imam Bukhari. He knew 1 million hadiths. 10 lakh hadiths unko yaad. And his book of hadith is about 6 times bigger than Imam Bukhari. Musnad Ahmad ibn Hanbal. But he chose to narrate by companion. For example, he chose that I am going to arrange the book. How? I will narrate all the hadiths saying of the Prophet through each companion. So he says Hazrat Abdullah bin Umar, whole chapter, only the hadith of Abdullah bin Umar. Hazrat Umar, all chapters, Hazrat Abu Bakr and things like that. So different sunan is also terminology of hadith. So it is the name of the people of muhaddithin, the traditionalists, the scholars of hadith, whichever hadith they try to get together, they actually then gather that type of hadith in the book, and they give that name to the book as well.
Bismillah, Azab. Obviously our aim in these kind of gatherings is ultimately to get the pleasure and the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as you said the other day, to refrain is very important, to be in good company and disconnect from people in the creation who are non-Muslims, and also to differentiate, to not have any ill feelings against any particular person, but to the characteristics which is against the Sunnah or on your path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is that also applicable for us towards Muslims as well? And if you're trying to do the mujahada and give advice and that person is still doing whatever they're doing, and the analogy of the dead corpse, what is our duty then for our iman or our path to not get into trouble? Should we then also refrain from being around Muslims who are doing these characteristics as well?
You see, a person can actually mingle and mixture with people to give dawah to any person, to give invitation towards good. Only then people become good. If you don't go to the people who are bad, for example, doing some bad things, how they are going to become good? So, but the thing is that you should be such a position that you don't become bad like them. Instead of bringing them, you don't become a part of them. So for that actually, it said, what I said, the company means the strong social circle which you have, you are like a strong, every person have 10, 15 people. Those people should be the good ones. Like they say in English, a man is known by the company he actually keeps, for example. So you can mingle, work with non-Muslims or kuffar, whoever bad, good people, you're working or you are giving dawah, but when you're selecting people for your special friendship and social circle, select those pious ones. But do interact with others as well. So like the brother was asking before about Salafi and Ahlul Hadith. Ahlul Hadith really can only be called the person who is Muhaddis. They are Ahlul Hadith. People Muhaddiseen who written Hadith books. A person followers cannot be called Ahlul Hadith. There's no firqa as well. Because when you ask them, they will say, we are Ahl Sunnah. Then why you call yourself Ahl Hadith? If you say, I am following Ahl Sunnah, then why you have to come up with a new name? Why not stay with the pure name? Like we say, we are not Deobandi, Barelvi, Ahl Hadith, or Salafi, or Sufi, or this, or that, or that. We straightforward in Muslims, then Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Finish. Matter. These names and things came after, in the last maybe 2 centuries. And Islam existed before. We want the pure thing. And if their beliefs match the true beliefs, we'll say they are right. They're closer to truth. If they are further away, we will say. But if you want to follow Hadith and Quran directly, I don't have any objection. But you should have that qualities of a mujtahid. Qualities of a mujtahid, Arabic language, grammar, the principle of Hadith, the principle of fiqh, what the previous scholars have said about this masala, what are they unanimous on, what are they against, what are they unanimous on, that ulama, that they all say it is disallowed. All this type of knowledge when one has, and he's read most of the hadith and understanding and shuru, Quranic tafsir, the grammar, the lexical part of the grammar, sarf and nahv, and then he can directly derive things. Otherwise, he will be very, very, very much actually come sometime. He will think he's following Quran, but he won't be. Like one person said that I can eat chicken in McDonald's, selfie brother. Because the thing is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that haram is that thing, hurima al-maytata wa damma wa lahma al-khinzir wa ma uhilla bi ghayrillah. That unlawful is that thing, haram, if name other than Allah is said on a chicken. If any other name than Allah, jis par ghairullah ka naam liya gaya, if any person other than Allah's name is said on the slaughtering the chicken, it is haram. Allah has mentioned, I am following that verse. And I have researched that people who may bring chickens in McDonald's or KFC, they don't believe in God anyway. They don't say any name of God on the chicken. They just cut their heads only, or actually slaughter them without saying. So they are halal, brother, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that actually haram is only when you've said a name of another false god. That is true what is said in the Quran, but I showed him, opened the Quran, there's another verse which says that haram is also mallam yazkur ismillah. If Allah's name is not said, that is haram. He said, oh, what will happen to my prayers? The ones which I have been reading because I didn't know that. So this is the type of danger people face. So on the day of judgment, they will be held accountable that if you didn't have complete knowledge, why actually you did not follow someone who had an overview, who had actually a proper knowledge. And that's why actually even in this world, people also follow these guidelines. For example, a person can have a knowledge, he might be a graduate, done a BSc, BA in medical science or MBBS or medical science. But he says, I've got a wonderful idea, I found a new drug which can cure AIDS and I want to sell it. They say, you've done MBBS, good and well, it's a good degree, but this you can't. Here I've done master's degree, still you can't come up with it. PhD, still you can't, you have to be tested by the scholars of medical science. And when you come, then still you can't treat people, because then that drug have to be researched on, tried and tested for 5-6 years, and then only it will come. This is like prescription for the body. And the prescription for heart and spirit, Deen gives prescription for the spiritual disease. It's like going to a medical shop and saying A to Z guide on medical science, and you say, yeah, these other doctors, they have never known this. I found a cure for this sugar disease now. And he then starts actually knocking on the doors of the neighbor, or people who are going to surgeries. Oh, brother, your GP doesn't know anything. He just keeps you giving medicine. I have a cure. Oh, this GP doesn't know anything. I've got a book. I've got dalil. I've got evidence, because I got it from internet and I've got it in a book. So no one will allow. The government will actually pursue him and he will be prosecuted. Even if someone becomes cured by his disease, his medicine, still he will be put in prison. Because if one person have become cured, 99 will die. Maybe there are people going to GP who say, I'm not specialist. Maybe 10 or 15, 20 people get cured. The majority will get cured. Others won't die at least. But this person. So that's an analogy I've drawn in the medical science. This is the spiritual science. This is more tactical. Because in medical science, germs are fighting against you. And in spiritual science, shayateen and devils are fighting you. Are they not more strong than germs? AIDS के जरासीम से ज़्यादा तो shayateen ये खतरनाक हैं. The devils, jinnat, shayateen, they are more dangerous than the germs. They're more shrewd. They're more sharp. They can lead a person astray easily. When he will be thinking, I am on guidance. So the safe way for him is to follow those people who has it been surety that they were on guidance and they succeeded and got in Jannah. And they were the Sahaba and A'imma Karam, the 4 A'imma and other Imams and Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani. It's sure about them, meaning that they were people of guidance. So you follow them, not actually, you don't test. It is not worthwhile, it is not proper risk you to test, because you only have one life. You can't actually make mistake. आप गलती नहीं कर सकते. You only have one life. If that's gone, it's gone. So there's no second chance. So you have to be cautious to choose your way, your thought, your way of life and everything, because you only get a chance once. And you can't try and test, trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. You might die soon. So search and inshallah at least follow those people who the world is unanimous that they were the good people. Be it Christian, be it Jew, be it Jewish people, be it actually people other further religion, they all believe that these people, namely Jesus Christ, Moses, Abraham, Prophet Muhammad, they were selfless and good people who gave good to humanity. You believe in them or not is a different matter, but it's a historical fact that these, if you compare these leaders with Hitler, George Washington, they are nothing compared to Jesus. or Moses or Abraham, because they were not pursuing leadership. They were really serving servants of God. So even the government, especially, Tony Blair, your previous prime minister, he is a strong believer in God and all the beliefs which the divinely revealed religion tell about Akhirah and things, and he said, went to the Pope. George Bush, he believes strongly on the unseen world. So they're unanimous on the prophets and unseen world. Difference is that the Jewish people don't believe in Jesus, only one prophet, and Prophet Muhammad. And difference in Christianity, they don't believe in one prophet. And difference of Islam is, Islam believes in all prophets. ये फर्क है, वरना all these other beliefs, unseen world, angels, death, punishment, life after death, they're all unanimous on that, because Islam has been always the same. Do's and don'ts, commands change, but the religion, deen, has been the same deen, Islam of Jesus, of Prophet Moses, of Abraham, Noah, to Hazrat Adam. He was the first person. So even majority of the world believes actually in these matters. So why follow the people who are new formed religions and new formed people, new ideas, when majority government and other people are unanimous on majority? Even if you go through democratic means, Muslim countries, Christian countries, Jewish countries, people who believe in religion, they are more than atheist countries. Majority of humanity always has been believing in God and the life hereafter, but in different ways sometimes. Hindus believe differently, Buddhists believe differently, Christians believe a little bit differently, Jewish people and the Muslim. So even majority, so why follow a very minority who are not, you are sure that he might be just take you in on a ride and commit suicide somewhere, like many of the cults do here and there. They come up with a new religion, Heaven's Gate, I'll get it to heavens, like they were in America, and got 500-600 people together and they committed suicide. And they were people who were knowledgeable worldly, computer scientists, doctors, solicitors, and they had this idea the earth is going to be destroyed soon. So because we are going to be rescued by a spaceship coming, so we'll actually go before actually earth become destroyed. The earth is here. So the prophets of doom, there's now and then people saying the world is going to finish in 2012, whether 2020 the last year. These are actually just false ideas which manipulate some people. Few hundreds get affected and they face a very bad end. So leave these people and follow the assembly of the true, meaning the prophets at least, the Anbiya alayhimus salam, the messengers through human history. There be no leader as them. You know very well Michael Hart, a research scholar, Christian research scholar, who's written a book called the 100 most influential personalities in human history. The 100 most influential personalities in human history. Very well known book is. On top what he has put, Prophet Muhammad, first one. Then he mentioned Jesus, George Washington, others, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu an, and others actually. But they say these were the successful people, most of them. And they said the Prophet Muhammad was the most successful in all of the humanity. He said, I am a Christian, but I have to do justice with research. Because he was the only man who was successful on secular and spiritual level. There have been some prophets who gave some concept of worship and guidance, but physically in the world, their religion was not implemented. Moses died in the Sinai desert. Jesus Christ, we say he resurrected. He was actually not. He was taken, lifted to heaven. Christians say he was resurrected. Result is same, that he did not implement his religion. He was not able to implement his religion. Similarly, but he said the Prophet Muhammad was the only person who was able to spiritually give people guidance of worship and to know Allah, and the worldly system as well, that his rulership actually was ruling. He was ruling almost 3 quarters of the world at one time in the time of Hazrat Umar. These are factual things. These are not actually that say believe in the unseen. These are, me and you know that. It's historical facts, basic things. And some people, aliens are coming, aliens are there, Flan is there. Well, you yourself are alien on this. You come from somewhere. Be alien, this is not your home, because you will return to your home after some years, where you come from. आप पहले तो खुद ही alien हैं. So try to at least take a lesson from even political leaders. You can take lessons. Like I was giving you, Gordon Brown is son of actually a Christian priest, a pastor. And he is very strong worshipper and believer in Christianity, he believes. So you should know that you go on internet, maybe there is God, not God, there's news research coming up. These people, like the President of America or Prime Minister of UK, they have the best access to the up-to-date technology and discoveries. Maybe those secrets which they don't tell the public even, discoveries, scientific facts. They know more. They have the best people at their disposal. At the end of the state of the quality that actually a normal person can. So me and you go on internet researching actually out of date research and coming up, no, I know. If these people, in spite of having all this knowledge to their disposal, technology, futurists, astronomers, medical expert to the very highest level, even after that, they still are staunch believers in God and their own religion, be it Christianity, be it, then you should know at least that the religion of the prophets was actually the true religion. And now the last of them is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whose religion will exist until day of judgment. He is the prophet of the time. Yes, brother, anything else anyone wants to mention? Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. We seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Assalamu alaikum. Just like the brother was saying before, like about if there comes a time where you got friends or family even, where you go to a particular place and it's a sinful place, like for example, a restaurant that sells alcohol. You're terrified about going because you really don't want to go, but at the same time you think, well, this could be an opportunity to give dawah. What would your...
You can go and give dawah there. There's no harm. Don't drink alcohol. But actually, you can go in the restaurant and sit and eat halal food. Because you're living in the world. If you ponder over a little bit that who was Moses or Jesus and Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon them, all sent, they were sent to the people who were doing all kinds of evil things first sometimes. Most evil people killing people, burying young girls' lives. That's the people. And if they thought that we'll just sit in the church or in the mosque or in the synagogue, whoever will want guidance, they will come, no one would have been on their religion now. So they went out to killers, to fornicators, to disruptors of society, and then they guided them as well. But the thing was, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala trained them first. Agar aap train, think why prophets start their mission of prophethood at 40 years of age. 40 साल के बाद नबी क्यों अपने नबूवत का काम? They are prophets before. पहले भी वो नबी होते हैं. They are prophets already. But why they start the mission? Because their training, उनकी तरबियत होती है, so that they don't become affected through anything. So they are made. And me and you, just overnight, actually a wali actually saying that yes, I've repented now, and I lead the world to actually guidance. Tomorrow I'm going to such a such pub, or in the nighttime discourse, and there I fall in love with a beautiful woman, and there I am actually gone to the heaven. So firstly, you need actually strength, and so that if all the world come against you, all the beautiful women of the world come towards you, you do not even raise a glance at them. You need this type of strength of character. And then people sometimes ask that to me actually, Yeah, brother, there's a lady, a girl, and she wants to know about Islam. What do you say? Shall I talk with her and go to her house, anything? And I say to them that, have you only found in 6 billion people this girl to give dawah? All men have died. All men have become Muslim. And I see fitna in there. Send a sister to her to give dawah to her. You don't. Many people, I am giving this dawah to the sister of Tariq dawah. वो पता चलता है that they end up giving dawah, the tariq actually to love themselves. The tariq, the way to the nafs, not the tariq to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They talk and then actually they finish. So thereafter, I fear for myself. I fear talking with women. And Islam has said that you should not talk softly, gently as such, that you give wrong messages of romantic rhyming accent is not allowed, nor the women to speak with other men, nor the men to speak. Only with wife and husband, and to very close wife, son, brother, husband. So there are laws, restrictions as such. So a person should have to be cautious actually that they themselves don't lose in that. Jazakallah, thank you for your time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for your time and coming and sitting, and forgive us anything wrong which we have said. I think most things which we are saying, there will be mistakes in them. We ask forgiveness, refuge in Allah. Truth is from Him. He knows, Wallahu alam wa rasuluhu, and we only convey the message what we understand. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us and guide us toward the right understanding, and so that we may be a source of light and hope for whole humanity, because Prophet ﷺ is the prophet of whole humanity, a mercy for animals, the environment, because all this is the creation of Allah, and we are going to be asked about it. Jazakallah, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruk wa natubu ilayk.